Chapter 139, Show Off Again, Eradicate Chronic Illness. Elder Wu had always been open-minded, so he agreed with Yi Qingla's words. Little girl is indeed a good seedling for alchemy. Elder Wu revealed admiration in his eyes, then asked, I heard that you already have a master. Lu Mu Yen nodded and admitted. With such a talented disciple like you, your master must wake up with a smile from dreaming, right one? Elder Wu joked. He secretly pitied that such a good seedling was dug up again by others and taken. When could he find a talented and satisfactory disciple himself? Lu Mu Yen smiled humbly. Elder Wu gives too much praise. Even she didn't know where her master was, so whether he'd wake up smiling from a dream or not was a real question. Although I've never seen your grade 2 pill, but from the pill fragrance I smelled just now, it's indeed top quality. But it's still not enough to treat Elder Lu's chronic illness right. Elder Wu spoke the doubt in his heart. Lu Mu Yen took out a box made of 1,000-year eyes from her interspatial ring and said, Indeed it's not enough. I also need to use the golden needles and coordinate it with the pill to cure Elder Lu's chronic illness. Then you can start. This old man won't hinder you anymore. There was a look of expectation on Elder Wu's face. Lu Mu Yen handed the white porcelain bottle to Elder Lu and said, Elder Lu, pour out one pill and take it, then push all the power of the medicine into the damaged and blocked meridians. All right. Elder Lu took the porcelain bottle, poured out a yellow pill and put it into his mouth without hesitation. When the power of the medicine was forcibly controlled by him to spread throughout the meridians in his entire body, he said, Done. Lu Mu Yen took out a special dark golden needle from the profound ice box and warned him, there may be some pain when entreating with the golden needles. If Elder Lu can't bear it, just say so. Young Miss Lu needs only to set your mind at ease to do what you need. As long as you can get rid of the chronic illness and I can cultivate again, they'll be willing to endure the pain no matter how painful it is. Elder Lu relaxed himself completely and said with a smile. In the past 10 years or so, every 3 months his illness would break out. He could even endure pain that made him rather die than live. Now that they were going to cure his illness, he wouldn't cower even more. Lu Mu Yen nodded with a smile, snapped her fingers, and a wisp of scarlet flame made from elemental energy condensation came out of her fingertip. She took the gold-colored needle and passed it over the flame before preparing to apply needles on Elder Lu. As soon as she took out the long golden needle from the profound icebox, everyone felt that there was a fluctuation of metal attribute elemental energy in the room. Heavenly Frost Golden Crystal. Mu Yi stared at the dark, golden needle in Lu Mu Yan's hand with wide eyes and couldn't help exclaiming. The others followed his voice and moved their eyes to the dark golden needle in Lu Mu Yan's hands. After a closer look, it turned out to indeed be the Heavenly Frost Golden Crystal. Then they scanned the profound ice box and there were actually more than 20 dark golden needles of varying lengths lying inside. With a look, it was obviously a set. This girl really was a prodigal. Where would one find anyone who wasted Heavenly Frost golden crystals like this? This was what everyone present thought. Yi Zhan looked deeply at the golden needle made by Heavenly Frost golden crystal in her hand. Then he remembered the Heavenly Frost golden crystal in his interspatial ring that had been frozen by an array and was difficult to crack, and also couldn't resist holding his forehead. This girl wasn't only a prodigal but was also a little fox. After she cured Elder Lu's chronic illness, he had to have a good discussion with her. Elder Wu looked at the Heavenly Frost golden crystal that had been refined into golden needles, feeling his flesh hurt. He could no longer describe his feelings. This girl was actually here to provoke people today, right? Lu Mu Yen actually didn't want to take out such cool golden needles, but using golden needles made by Heavenly Frost golden crystal was indeed more conducive to curing Elder Lu's chronic illness, so she could only be a bit high profile. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks. Did this girl snatch the Heavenly Frost golden crystal? Yi Chen asked Yi Zhan telepathically in astonishment. Yi Zhan smiled bitterly, no. That day, Monarch Ming snatched 3 pieces and Lan Si and I took a piece each. Although Lan Sis one was swapped back from me, but it must be for himself. The one in little Lu girl's hands must be from Monarch Ming. It seems that the relationship between her and Monarch Ming really isn't shallow. Could Monarch Ming be the respected master behind her? Yi Chen guessed that with Monarch Ming's status in the 9-layer hall, he shouldn't be too young. Plus it was said that Lu Mu Yen had a mysterious master yet had never revealed themselves before. But with the familiarity between the two, they probably had a master-disciple relationship. Yi Zhan pondered for a while, then telepathically said, "That's hard to say, but if you can give the Heavenly Frost golden crystal to little Lu girl to be so prodigal with, then the relationship wouldn't be ordinary even if they're not a master-disciple relationship." Whenever they spoke of the Heavenly Frost golden crystal, Yi Chen felt his flesh hurt. This girl is too prodigal. The Heavenly Frost golden crystal was used by her to refine into golden needles for treatment just like this. If the other old fellows from the 10 distinguished clans knew, then wouldn't they be so furious? She's just that different from others. Otherwise Qing Han wouldn't have fallen for her. Yi Zhan's lips revealed a very faint smile. Yi Chen sighed. He also noticed his son's recent abnormalities. He was originally still a little opposed to him constantly thinking about a legendary trash from a small clan of Yanzhou Kingdom, but after seeing Lu Mu Yen today, he discovered that this sort of woman was indeed very attractive to people. She was full of spirit, was clever and bright, and had exceptional talent. The most important thing was that she wasn't humble nor haughty when doing things, not arrogant or impetuous, and carried a self-confidence and uninhibitedness. Among the younger generation of women in the eastern region, Lu Mu Yen was the girl with the best behavior and temperament. What trash, it seemed that those couldn't be trusted at all. The divination of the divine seer had never been wrong before, and this time, was also made fact on Lu Mu Yen. Seeing Lu Mu Yen this time had completely changed the impression Yi Chen painted of her before, and he decided not to object to the fact that his son liked her. Such a woman was indeed qualified to be the future mistress of his Yi clan. She started applying needles. Yi Zhan's gaze always followed Lu Mu Yen. "Elder brother, watch carefully. She has her own set of methods for performing the art of the golden needles." Hearing this, Yi Chen immediately looked towards Lu Mu Yen and found that each time she used the golden needle, it was like forming an array, like forming seals in mid-air, drawing something, before piercing it into Elder Lu's body. He rubbed his chin and watched with some interest. Every time Lu Mu Yen applied needles, she'd collect spiritual energy that had been filtered in her green sea of fog onto the needle. She discovered that the filtered spiritual energy had the effect of repairing. The dark golden needles of various lengths seemed to come alive in her slender fingers. They constantly pierced into Elder Lu's body or pulled out and burned by the flame on her fingertip made by elemental energy condensation, then continued to be applied. Her movements were graceful, her face was so serious that others couldn't disturb her, and her forehead was gradually covered with a layer of fine sweat while her hands kept moving. Everyone quietly watched her apply the needles as if this wasn't a medical treatment, but a golden needle performance, exceptionally brilliant. Elder Lu gritted his teeth tightly. Not only did the prickling sensation all over his body not make him feel uncomfortable, but instead, he felt extremely excited. Those meridians that had once been blocked for more than 10 years were actually able to accommodate to the passing of the needle auras, and the feeling he once felt during the height of his power and splendor as a Sword King was slowly returning. Elder Wu stared at her applying the needles without blinking and his eyes grew more and more shocked. This truly was a marvelous skill. On Shifeng's seemingly paralyzed face was a rare trace of astonishment. He stared, dumbfounded, at Lu Mu Yen applying the art of the golden needles, and attempted to remember every movement of hers. Finished. 2 hours later, Lu Mu Yen withdrew all the golden needles, revealing a satisfied smile on her gorgeous face. Come true, one a saying that means someone is so satisfied and happy about something even in his dreams. So her master must be exceptionally proud, happy, and satisfied. Chapter 140. Prepared to extort. Lu Mu Yen finished in one go and performed the art of the golden needles to an exceptionally high level. The treatment was much better than expected. Elder Lu's closed eyes opened instantly, and a gleam of sharp light flashed through his cloudy eyes. He moved the muscles and bones of his whole body and felt a trace of spiritual force spontaneously enter various meridians. It wasn't drained as fast as usual, and instead, sunk into the dantian along the meridians. The meridians previously injured by sword auras were all dredged, and even the years of internal injuries and hidden illnesses were healed by Lu Mu Yen. The spiritual force in the dantian gathered around bit by bit, and he once again felt an abundance of elemental energy throughout his entire body. He was so excited tears almost rose in his eyes. Young Miss Lu, a mere thank you is an insufficient response to such a huge favor. If one day this old man can be of use to you, then please don't hesitate to give orders. Elder Lu cupped his hands at Lu Mu Yen with gratitude. Elder Wu immediately got up and took Elder Lu's hand to feel the pulse while using his mental energy to inspect his meridians. His eyes were filled with shock. Is this art of the golden needles a legendary divine skill? Lu Mu Yen smiled without answering. She learnt this art of the golden needles from a genius doctor when she turned into a mortal in the mortal world. Later, she found a method that could naturally combine with the application of the needles in the heavenly grade alchemist's place of inheritance. That's why whether it was healing mortals or healing cultivators, its effects were all the same. If one wanted to call it a divine skill, then it wasn't as if they couldn't. She had always been very fortunate that she could obtain the inheritance of this art of the golden needles. Shifeng pressed his lips together and couldn't help but stand up and take Elder Lu's other hand to investigate. The shock in his heart was no less than Elder Wu. Young Miss Lu, this one is truly impressed by your art of the golden needles that you performed. Shifeng praised from the bottom of his heart. His original treatment method was far more dangerous than Lu Mu Yan's, and it didn't even heal at this speed or effect. This kind of golden needles art was something that could even convince the ancestors of the Shi clan if they came to observe. You two have overpraised, everyone has their own strengths. Lu Mu Yen smiled modestly. Moreover, this time, the length of treatment could be so short, and the fact that recovery is much faster than expected, was all thanks to this set of golden needles made by Heavenly Frost golden crystals. Elder Lu basically recovered after applying the golden needles, but that was in fact actually mainly because of the filtering effect of the green sea of fog in her body, and also the credit of the ice bangle. Except that it wasn't good for her to reveal that, so she pushed all the credit onto the golden needles made by Heavenly Frost golden crystal. Of course, the Heavenly Frost golden crystal was basically a spiritual item birthed from heaven and earth. After swallowed by a demonic beast, it could even help them shape their yaofu and break through a bottleneck, so it also had miraculous effects when performing golden needle treatments. When Elder Wu and Shifeng heard this, they couldn't resist twitching the corners of their lips. She sure spoke lightly. A Heavenly Frost golden crystal was hard to find even in 1,000 years. When sword masters obtained a small piece, didn't they all use it to refine magic tools? Who'd be so prodigal like this girl? Little girl, is this the only set of golden needles made from Heavenly Frost golden crystal you have? Elder Wu asked as he looked at the golden needles in the 1,000-year profound icebox with fiery eyes. Lu Mu Yen smiled calmly and said, yes. I got a small piece from Monarch Ming and used it all to refine this set of golden needles. If Elder Wu wants to forge some, then I could help. She paused, then blinked and added, Senior Yizhan still has a piece of Heavenly Frost golden crystal. Yizhan looked at her without a good attitude. This little fox. The Heavenly Frost golden crystal in his hands had greater use. How could he be such a prodigal like her? Elder Wu glanced at Yizhan and dispelled the thoughts in his heart. Such a spiritual item could only be encountered by chance, so he didn't force it. This old man was just joking. Elder Wu smiled shyly. Elder Yi, don't you have 2 Heavenly Frost golden crystals in your hand? Can you possibly cut your love and give me a small piece? Our Sure clan will definitely give you a rich gift of thanks. Sure Feng was a medical madman. Aside from alchemy, he also liked to study medical skills. This time, seeing Lu Mu Yen using the golden needles to heal the illness, his heart also itched to give it a try. Mu Yi's eyes moved, and he clasped his fists to Yi Zhan and said, Senior Yi, our Mu clan is also willing to spend a high price in exchange for a small piece of Heavenly Frost golden crystal. Yi Zhan smiled helplessly. Even though I did obtain 2 pieces of Heavenly Frost golden crystal, but after exiting the glacial mountain range, Lan Si swapped that piece back. The remaining one is of great use to me, so you two can only think of other ways. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks. When the two heard him say this, their eyes revealed disappointment. They came to visit the Yi clan this time, 1, for the things regarding the continental tournament for hegemony, and 2, to inquire about Yi Zhan's attitude, seeing if he could cut his love and give a small piece. But now it seems there's no show. Lu girl, you have a deep relationship with Monarch Ming, perhaps you have more Heavenly Frost golden crystals? Yi Zhan turned the conversation on its head and threw the topic to Lu Mu Yen again. Mu Yi and Sure Feng's disappointed eyes lit up and they looked at Lu Mu Yen one after the other. No more. It wasn't easy for me to get some Heavenly Frost golden crystal from him to refine this set of golden needles already. He's so stingy that he won't even give me any more. She complained with a look of innocence and loveliness. She secretly said in her head, Ming Xiu, he'll just borrow your reputation to use a bit. Her attitude made everyone present think deeply. With such an intimate tone, the relationship between Lu Mu Yen and Monarch Ming must indeed be extraordinary. Originally, their attitude towards Lu Mu Yen was more of recognition. Now, because she had exposed her ability and Monarch Ming behind her, it also made the Yi clan's seniors, Sure Feng and Mu Yi, feel the desire to befriend her. That's truly a pity. Mu Yi pulled out a smile with a little disappointment in his voice. But those things indeed couldn't be forced. Mu Yen must be tired, do you want to go rest first? Yi Qinghan saw Lu Mu Yen reveal slight weariness, so he piped up and said with a considerate smile. Lu Mu Yen nodded, it really takes some effort to perform this art of the golden needles. Elder sister Mu Yen, you can follow me to my courtyard to rest. Yi Qinglu stood up and walked to Lu Mu Yan's side, hugging her arms affectionately. These old guys sure weren't ashamed of having ideas for Lu Mu Yen one by one. Yi Qin and Yi Zhan glanced at each other and said with a smile, little Lu girl indeed worked hard today. Go down and have a good night's rest first. Tomorrow, let Qing Han and Qing Li take you and the third prince to Luoxi City for a tour. Sure, then Mu Yen will bother you. Lu Mu Yen replied politely with a smile. After returning to Yi Qing's courtyard with her, Lu Mu Yen said that she was tired and went back to the room to rest first. When she returned to the room, she took out some spiritual tea to brew, poured 2 cups, and picked up a cup to taste first, obviously waiting for someone. Sure enough, it didn't take long before there were a few very small knocks on the door. Senior Yi, please come in. She whispered. When she and Yi Qinglu left, Yi Zhan had telepathically told her that he had something to discuss that night, that's why she prepared herself and waited for him to come. She also naturally knew what he wanted. Yi Zhan pushed open the door, then closed it again after entering. He walked to the place opposite Lu Mu Yen and sat down. He first took a sip of the spiritual tea in front of him, then placed it down and said with a smile, little girl really has very good tea-making skills. But it's a pity that the quality of this spiritual tea is too poor. Lu Mu Yen chuckled slyly, can't be helped, I'm too poor, can't afford to drink high-quality tea, how about Senior Yi aid me a bit financially? The last time she met Ming Xiu, she forgot to ask for high-level spiritual tea. Since Yi Zhan took the initiative to deliver himself to her door, then she'd feel too sorry for her own appetite that she had raised to be picky if she didn't extort some. Yi-Zhan looked at her amusedly and couldn't help but curse inwardly, little fox. Translated product by May R. Come True. Chapter 141. Bet on me. Lu Muyan's eyes narrowed into a crescent shape, and she displayed a rare look of a young cunning girl. Yi-Zhan also knew that he would definitely be extorted of something by this little fox, so he took out 2 cans of high-quality spiritual tea he had collected from his interspatial ring. These are 2 of the best spiritual teas in the eastern region. Consider it as a meeting gift for you, little girl. Lu Muyan's bright eyes gained a radiance. She picked up a can of tea and opened the lid. A strong, fragrant scent flowed out, making one feel refreshed. The other can were spiritual tea's tea tips. The process of picking and frying was exceptionally complicated and was even more precious. She put away the 2 cans of tea with a smile. Senior Yi is really generous, then Mu Yan won't be polite. Yi-Zhan's eyelids twitched. You can still be polite. I wonder what Senior is here to find me for. Lu Muyan asked lightly and took a sip of her spiritual tea. You can call me Uncle Yi from now on. Yi-Zhan also didn't dislike it and took a sip of tea as she did, then said leisurely, You don't know why I'm looking for you. Little girl, the freezing array on the Heavenly Frost golden crystal is your doing, right? Changing from Senior to Uncle Yi was also to express that he regarded Lu Muyan as important. Lu Muyan wasn't quarrelsome either. Uncle Yi, you should be able to crack that array, right? Yi-Zhan was an unfathomable person. Although he was only at Sword Sovereign cultivation base, but he instinctively made her feel a mysterious aura. She believed that this person would be able to crack her array as long as he took some time. Indeed, I can crack it. But it takes too much time. Since you're here in the Yi clan, then why should I do such useless work? His time was very precious. Lu Muyan played with the teacup in her hand, her eyes deep, then said after a while, Can I ask Uncle Yi a matter about the Shui clan of the 10 distinguished clans? Ask. Yi-Zhan knew that Lu Muyan valued the Ling clan a lot, and he didn't like the Shui clan's ungrateful style of doing things either, so it didn't hurt to sell a personal favor to this little fox. The Shui clan really only has 2 sword sovereign powerhouses? Aside from working with the Axian clan privately, which other clans do they have close contact with? Ever since Lu Muyan saw the Shui clan's sword sovereign and Shui Ling in the glacial mountain range, she had always felt that their appearance wasn't truthful. Yi-Zhan raised his head to face Lu Muyan and smiled lightly. You, girl, sure observes carefully and considers things deeply. The Shui clan indeed has more than 2 sword sovereign powerhouses. The Shui clan's ancestor is actually someone else, and this person is already at peak phase sword sovereign cultivation base. He's currently in life or death seclusion in order to break through to sword venerable. I secretly received news that another pupil of the Shui clan broke through to sword sovereign, but they had hidden it and not announced it, so there are now 4 sword sovereigns in their clan. Their overall strength is actually only second after the top 3 distinguished clans. As for the other distinguished clans that the Shui clan has close contact with, I only know that there's also the Lu clan that's ranked 7th. Before, when the others were targeting the Ling clan, however, the Lu clan didn't participate. Yi-Zhan also didn't conceal anything and told Lu Muyan everything that he knew. Lu Muyan furrowed her willow brows. It seemed that the Shui clan was indeed a thorny opponent. Little girl, you better not focus on dealing with the Shui clan and Axian clan right now. The Ling clan isn't as weak as you think. Otherwise they'd long have been kicked out of the ranks of the 10 distinguished clans. Yi-Zhan had a favorable opinion of Lu Muyan, this junior, so though he rarely reminded people, he did to her. Lu Muyan's lips raised into an arc, and she blinked as she asked, Then where does Uncle Yi think my current focus should be placed? Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks, naturally it should be placed on the continental tournament for hegemony. Yi-Zhan also knew that this little girl was a slippery head, so she must understand this principle. If you ranked in the top 100 and joined a sect, then are you still afraid you can't handle a little Shui clan? Uncle Yi, have you ever been to the other regions? Lu Mu Yen had actually always wanted to go to the other regions for a look. I've only been to the western region bordering the eastern region. I haven't been to the largest region on Tianling continent, the southern region, and the second-ranked northern region. Yi Zhan's eyes also revealed a look of yearning. Most of his previous time was spent on cultivation. Now that he had advanced to Sword Sovereign, he clearly felt that it was harder to break through the bottleneck, and it was much harder to improve his cultivation base. After he refined the Heavenly Frost Golden Crystal into a magic tool, he had decided to travel to the other two pieces of the continent and believed he had the ability to protect himself as well. I heard from the principal of Empire Academy that the eastern region is the weakest among the 4 major regions, and even the 10 distinguished clans can only be ranked as third-rate forces in the other regions. Lu Mu Yen was rarely able to find someone to inquire about the news of other regions, so she continued to ask. Yi Zhan nodded, indeed. The entire Tianling continent is very wide and there are countless hidden clans. They're basically distributed in the northern and southern regions. Even the 6 major sects are built in the northern and southern region. Our western and eastern region basically can't be compared to them at all. Then do you know the 9-layer hole? Ming Xiu's figure rose in Lu Mu Yan's mind, and she couldn't help asking again. Yi Zhan looked at her with a smile yet not quite a smile and said, "Little girl, your questions have surpassed one matter by too much." Lu Mu Yen secretly cursed Yi Zhan old fox, but she didn't express it, and said with a smile, "Then does Uncle Yi want something from me? Do you have a pill that can enhance the strength of a demonic beast?" Yi Zhan asked after some silence. Lu Mu Yan's eyes revealed faint surprise, then said, "I do." "Is it useful to demonic beasts of transformation stage?" Yi Zhan's eyes revealed rare fluctuations. "Uncle Yi, you think too highly of me, no?" Lu Mu Yen shrugged and said, "I'm just a grade 2 alchemist. If I can refine a pill that can improve the strength of a demonic beast at the transformation stage, then I'd have been directly poached by the 6 major sects long ago. Why do I still need to sit here?" She really didn't have pills that could enhance the strength of transformation stage demonic beasts. She couldn't refine it either with her current cultivation base. Yi Zhan lowered his head and smiled. He was thinking too much. If Lu Mu Yen could really refine a pill that could improve the strength of transformation stage demonic beasts, then she'd probably be a monster. But, though I can't refine it now, it doesn't mean that I won't be able to refine it in the future. Lu Mu Yen revealed a confident brilliance between her brows and said with a smile, "Uncle Yi might as well make a bet right now and bet on me. If I become a grade 4 alchemist in the future, it'll benefit you a lot." Yi Zhan chuckled, his eyes filled with pardoning. "Since you have such confidence in yourself, then I might as well bet on you. Uncle Yi, you really have good eyesight. Don't worry, you won't lose." Lu Mu Yen revealed a joyful smile. Aside from that guy, Ming Xiu, this was the first time that she had such a pleasant conversation with a sword sovereign powerhouse. The nature of the method that Yi Zhan cultivated contained and pardoned everything. He was also charismatic himself, didn't put on airs, and had integrity. Such people were worthy to befriend. Of course, she didn't know that the pardoning and amiability wasn't the case in front of everyone. "Ah," the clear and sweet male voice echoed in the room. Because Yi Zhan arranged a soundproof elemental energy cover, it didn't overflow out of the room. "You, girl, is really interesting. Then can Uncle Yi talk about 9-layer hall now? Come true." Chapter 142. The harvest. From questioning, Yi Zhan took a sip from his teacup and concealed the smile on his lips. The 9-layer hall is a mysterious force in the southern region. It rarely appears in public but is in existence even the 6 major sects don't dare to easily provoke. Lu Mu Yan's eyes were like ink as she continued to ask, is Monarch Ming the Hall Master of the 9-layer Hall? Yes. The corner of Yi Zhan's lips raised. Monarch Ming has only started roaming around Tianling continent in the last 3 years. His identity is extremely secretive, and few people know it. Don't tell me that with the relationship between you and him, you still don't know these things. Yi Zhan was a little curious about just what sort of relationship it was between Lu Mu Yen and Monarch Ming. Lu Mu Yen smiled gracefully. Monarch Ming and I are just casual acquaintances. I had never inquired about the 9-layer hall from him, otherwise I wouldn't be asking Uncle Yi. Just being a casual acquaintance would make someone jump into the lava pool, disregarding their own life, to save you. Would gift you a piece of the Heavenly Frost golden crystal that will even be madly contested for by high-level powerhouses in the southern and northern regions. Little girl, who are you fooling? Yi Zhan raised an eyebrow. As if had believed the two of them were just casual acquaintances. He wouldn't happen to be the mysterious master behind you, would he? Then Yi Zhan asked tentatively. Lu Mu Yen remained slightly smiling, her eyes clear. Whatever you say is what it is then. Yi Zhan couldn't help but roll his eyes at Lu Mu Yen. This girl really was a sly fox. What did she mean by whatever he said was what it was then? It was obvious that she didn't want to reveal the relationship between them. I've answered all your questions, now it's your turn to do something right. Yi Zhan no longer dwelled on the topic. Everyone had their own secrets, so he didn't want to delve into it. Lu Mu Yen nodded in cooperation. Take out the Heavenly Frost golden crystal. Yi Zhan took out the Heavenly Frost golden crystal that was still wrapped in ice and handed it to Lu Mu Yen. Are you able to resolve it now? Of course I can. Lu Mu Yen promised. She wrapped her hands over the Heavenly Frost golden crystal, muttered a few obscure words, then beams of red light shone from the slits between her fingertips and instantly melted the ice on the Heavenly Frost golden crystal. Then a jade-colored rune belt circled the Heavenly Frost golden crystal, shining lightly, and fluctuating faintly with elemental energy. She pointed 2 fingers and muttered, "Scatter." The jade-colored rune belt appeared as if it had intelligence as it jumped from the Heavenly Frost golden crystal and sunk into her body instantly. Done. Lu Mu Yen handed the Heavenly Frost golden crystal, with its array broken, back to Yi Zhan. Yi Zhan played with the Heavenly Frost golden crystal in his hands and discovered that there was no trace of arrays on it at all. His evaluation of Lu Mu Yen was even higher now. This girl didn't only have exceeding talent in cultivation, and exceeding talent in alchemy, who knew that she'd even have such talent in arrays as well. Who knew how many people will be envious of her in the future? No wonder they said that people who had the terminal meridian's constitution were actually the real favored children of heaven. Fortune and misfortune were interdependent. Lu Mu Yan's talent after eradicating the terminal meridian's constitution could indeed be considered the best among prodigies. Even if placed among the talents of the younger generation in the 2 southern and northern regions, she wouldn't be outdone. Your talent in arrays is also very strong. You can already choose 3 among the 6 major sects. Yi Zhan's eyes revealed some praise. 3 among them. Why? Lu Mu Yen didn't know much about the 6 major sects. After all, Yanzhou Kingdom was only a medium-small kingdom in the eastern region and the information they knew was very limited. Cultivation talent, alchemy talent, array talent. 3 of the 6 major sects have the advantage in these 3 specialties. Yi Zhan hid some regret in his eyes. What I know about the 6 major sects is only superficial. After all, there were practically none who entered a sect after participating in the continental tournament for hegemony from our eastern region each time. Why is it that I heard that Xue Ling's talent was so good that she could enter a sect directly after the tournament for hegemony? Lu Mu Yen asked in confusion. Yi Zhan smiled disdainfully. It isn't like it's that difficult for the pupils of the main bloodline with some talent to enter a sect, but that's only an outer titular pupil. The possibility of becoming an outer core pupil or an inner pupil is basically 0. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks, of course, there are also those exceptionally talented, tough-minded pupils who choose to be an outer titular pupil, then with their own efforts and by taking some appropriate opportunities, they may also soar into the sky. However, none of the superiors of the 10 distinguished clans are very supportive of this choice. Entering the sect like this is only just slightly good for the reputation. Yizhan thought a bit, then said, the Shui clan deliberately released this kind of news probably because they wanted to successfully put pressure on the Ling clan and annul the engagement. Shui Ling had always been a focus in the Shui clan to raise. Their goal must be to obtain a rank in the top 100 in the continental tournament for hegemony and not just to be an outer titular pupil. So that's how it is. Lu Muyan's lips curled coldly. Shui Ling wanted to be ranked in the top 100 in the continental tournament for hegemony. As long as she was here, then she'd definitely prevent this scourge that could endanger the Ling clan and Lu clan from entering into the top 100 and become an outer core pupil of a sect. Little girl, do you still have anything else to ask? Though, I only know the surface of things about the 6 major sects and the southern and northern regions. I believe that you'll come into contact with that broader world one day and you'll naturally come to understand it then. No more. I would like to thank Uncle Yi for resolving my confusions today. Lu Muyan smiled lightly and thanked. Although she only extorted 2 jars of high-level spiritual tea today, but it was also a great harvest to be able to gain so much information from Yizhan with her questioning. Yizhan's handsome and beautiful face revealed a soft, gentle smile. He stood up and said with a smile, today, you also spent a lot of energy on the treatment of Elder Lu. I won't bother your rest now. Uncle Yi, take care. Lu Muyan got up and saw him off. After Yizhan's figure disappeared into the night, Lu Muyan closed the door in thought. Early the next morning, Lu Muyan heard a knock on the door right after she just got up. She opened the door and saw that it was indeed Yi Qinglu and Mu Xia. Qinglu, Mu Xia, morning. Elder sister Mu Yen, morning. The two walked into the room and greeted her at the same time. Elder sister Mu Yen, let's go to the famous stream reflection restaurant of Luoxi City for breakfast. Yi Qinglu smiled sweetly. Lu Muyan nodded and said with a smile, well, do whatever you have planned today. Luoxi City was even bigger than the imperial capital of Yanzhou Kingdom, and she also wanted to wander around casually. Then let's go. Elder brother, Mu Yi, and the others are already waiting in the front hall. Yi Qinglu smiled and pulled the two out of the yard quickly. Lu Muyan discovered that Yi Qinglu had a special excitement for going out. Qinglu, aren't you tired of roaming Luoxi City? How could I be tired of it? Yi Qinglu's eyes darkened. Then she smiled optimistically and cheerfully said, I actually only wandered around Luoxi City 3 times. I was detained at home by Daddy all year round because of my weak body. If it weren't that I took a medicinal pill to suppress the fetal poison before going to the glacial mountain range, and its effect hadn't yet faded, I wouldn't even be able to go out with you. At this time, Lu Muyan also remembered that Yi Qinglu was accompanied by the fetal poison all year round and usually didn't have much energy to wander around. She held Yi Qinglu's hand tightly, smiled and promised, Qinglu, I will definitely heal you. I believe in elder sister Muyan. Yi Qinglu smiled beautifully with trust and sincerity in her eyes. In fact, even if Lu Muyan couldn't cure her illness, she wouldn't blame her. She got close to Lu Muyan not for the purpose of curing her illness. It was simply all because of the fate of one glance. The first time they met, she simply just liked this woman who was only 1 year older than herself, and she always felt a kind of intimacy in her heart. She believed that this was just a kind of fate between them. Chapter 143. The secret in the belly of the fish. Luoxi City was located in the core area with the most spiritual force in the eastern region. Even if one only walked on the streets, one could still feel the spiritual force that was more than 10 times denser than that of Yanzhou Kingdom. The group departed from the Yi clan and went for a short boat trip on the scenic central lake of Luoshi City first. In the central lake, a wide variety of fish or aquatic demonic beasts swam around, occasionally leaping up, then happily landing back down. This was the first time that Lu Mu Yen had seen this sort of scenery. She sat in the boat's cabin with great interest and watched the colorful fish swimming in the crystal clear water. Occasionally, a demonic beast would swim out from the bottom of the lake, either to go eat some fish or threaten the other fish for fun. The central lake in Luoshi City is very interesting, right? Mu Xia gently shook a celadone wine cup and said to Lu Mu Yen with a smile. Indeed, very interesting. Lu Mu Yen said with a light smile, thought a bit, then asked, there are so many demonic beasts in the lake, aren't people afraid they'd hurt someone? These demonic beasts had long been tamed by the Yi clan, and they won't hurt people. Yi Qinglu replied. Lu Mu Yan's calm eyes fluctuated slightly. So it turned out that the Yi clan kept such a lake specifically for the clan's pupils to practice beast taming skills. She wondered just who came up with such a method. It truly was ingenious. Owner, let me out, I can smell the scent of Jiangchuang Lin fish. The voice of Bing Ji sounded in her sea of consciousness. Lu Mu Yen held her forehead. That stinky bird really couldn't stay quiet wherever they went. But she also didn't want to restrain him for too long, so she released him from the spirit beast bangle. Everyone felt Lu Mu Yan's spirit beast bangle fluctuate slightly, and an even-colored parrot fell on her shoulder. Little owner, one day apart is like passing 3 autumns. Bing Ji misses you to death. The moment Bing Ji came out, he used his head to rub Lu Mu Yan's shoulder, filled with flattering. Little owner was beautiful and fragrant, he would never go back into the spirit beast bangle again. Pu. Mu Yi couldn't resist spitting out some wine after he heard the flattery of the 7-colored parrot. Lu Mu Yen, this woman, really had everything. Lu Mu Yen couldn't help but twitch her lips. Couldn't this stinky bird be a bit more normal? Can you show off a little bit of the imposing manner of a Tier 8 demonic beast? Bing J's body stiffened, then he said without a care, how can I show off the imposing manner of a Tier 8 demonic beast when you guys suppressed my demonic energy? Besides, shouldn't one live life on this world freely and without restraint? Hearing the last sentence, Lu Mu Yan's eyes showed a rare look of approval. What this stinky bird said was also reasonable. Yi Qinglu looked at the 7-colored parrot curiously. Why did this ordinary-looking animal secretly exude a fearful pressure? Elder sister Mu Yen, your parrot is also a demonic beast. After Yi Qinglu's question, Yi Qinghan and the others looked up at Lu Mu Yen. Although they couldn't feel any demonic energy fluctuations from the 7-colored parrot, but they could still feel that he was extraordinary. He's a Tier 6 demonic beast. Lu Mu Yen also didn't conceal it, otherwise when the day came that Bing Ji revealed his true form, he'd be exposed anyways, so it was better to be honest. Ah! Yi Qinglu looked at Bing Ji a few more times in disbelief. Can a 7-colored parrot also cultivate to Tier 6? It's truly unheard of. Mu Yan's 7-colored parrot must be the transformation of some bird-type demonic beast, right? Yi Qinghan looked at Lu Mu Yen with a smile that wasn't quite a smile. Lu Mu Yen nodded, indeed that's how it is. Her calm expression and her excuse made everyone here admire her, and even envied her good luck. Of course, luck was also a part of strength. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks, they all thought that Lu Mu Yan's master helped contract this Tier 6 spirit pet for her, and it could only be justified in that way. Lu Mu Yen, this woman, wasn't only amazing in terms of her combat power, and very strong in her alchemy talents, she was also secretive in other aspects. Qinghan, my bird's craving the Jiangchuan Lin fish in this lake, do you mind doing me a favor? Lu Mu Yen asked Yi Qinghan with a smile. Yi Qinghan waved his hand without care, eat as much as you want, it's fine even if you eat all the fish in the lake. Go, but remember to take it easy. Lu Mu Yen turned her head and warned Bing Ji. Otherwise, with this stinky bird's natural disposition, he'd definitely eat all the Jiangchuan Lin fish in the lake. Bing Ji pursed his lips, then flew out of the cabin and plunged into the lake, swimming here and there. Very soon, he swallowed one Jiangchuan Lin fish after another. This bird can also swim, how curious. Mu Xia stared at Bing Ji's figure swimming in the water and her eyes were filled with interest. Lu Mu Yen smiled. Could she say that he wasn't actually a normal bird, but instead a Cyan Luan divine beast's descendant? Is there a shop in Luoxi City that sells spiritual herbs and spars for smithing? She asked, changing the subject. Naturally there are, but high-level spiritual herbs and smithing spars are basically all sold at auctions or the headquarters of the Ming Chamber of Commerce Alliance. If you want to buy, then we can accompany you to stroll around when we get off the boat. Yi Qing Han explained. Mui pondered for a bit and asked, Mu Yen can also smith. Just scratching the surface of things. There's a smith at home, so I want to buy some materials to ask him to refine some magic tools for the juniors in the clan. Lu Mu Yen took a sip of wine. The taste was alright, but lacked spiritual force, and actually made her have the thought to brew spiritual wine. Hearing what she said, all of them felt relieved. If she could even smith, then it'd really be a blow to their pride as the favored children of heaven. It's a pity that you don't learn smithing with such a deep comprehension of the fire elemental energy law. In the future, learn more from the smith of your clan and maybe you'll become a master in smithing of the generation. Mu Yi said half-jokingly. Lu Mu Yen nodded and said, I do have that kind of thought, but I don't have the extravagant hope to become a master in smithing of the generation. Although she knew a lot of smithing methods, but she actually didn't have a thorough understanding of smithing, and she was also only equivalent to this world's grade 5 or 6 level. Compared with the real masters of smith clans, she was still inferior. The only thing she did aside from placing her energy on cultivation in her previous life was immersing herself in studying alchemy and arrays. She, herself, wasn't very interested in smithing, and if it weren't because she wanted to refine her natal magic tool, she wouldn't deliberately learn it either. And even though she had the advantage of having been a body fusion stage almighty in her previous life in the immortal cultivation world, as well as having countless resources in cultivation, but she wouldn't underestimate the sword masters of Tianling continent. She had always known the principle that there were mountains higher than another. As for smithing, she guessed that guy, Ming Xiu's, grade definitely wasn't low, and he probably actually had amazing talent. After Bing Ji had eaten up 2/3 of the Jiangchuan Lin fish in the lake, Lu Mu Yen immediately recalled him. I told you to take it easy, but you're about to eat up all the Jiangchuan Lin fish in the lake. Lu Mu Yen secretly rolled her eyes at Bing Ji, who still looked as if he was not yet satisfied. Little owner, it's because you haven't ever experienced the delicacy of the Jiangchuan Lin fish. This kind of fish isn't so simple. Bing Ji smacked his lips and telepathically said. How is it not simple? She also guessed that the Jiangchuan Lin fish must have an aspect that attracted Bing Ji. This kind of fish will produce a pearl-like blue bead in its belly which contains the essence of water, which is helpful for comprehending the water elemental energy law. Bing Ji didn't conceal it either and even said with some pride, the most important thing is that the wonderful effect of this essence of water isn't known to everyone, and I just happen to know this secret. There must be a special way to absorb the essence of water, right? Lu Mu Yen asked after a little pondering. Translated product by May R. Come True. Big customer. Even if 1 or 2 people couldn't discover the wonderful effect of the bead in the belly of the Jiangchuan Lin fish, it couldn't be that thousands, tens of thousands of people couldn't even discover it. She suspected that it was a talent of the Ice Luan race. That's of course. Bing Ji raised his beak proudly and his small eyes rolled around, but if owner wants to learn this special method, then I can teach it to you for free. Lu Mu Yan's eyes lit up. She could comprehend all the elemental laws of this world and had comprehended the fire elemental energy law the deepest, followed by the ice element. If she could comprehend the water element law more deeply, then that was even better. Can the blue beads in the Jiangchuan Lin fish be preserved? Lu Muyen telepathically asked. Naturally, it's possible. But there's practically no one on this continent who knows the wondrous effects of the beads in the Jiangchuan Lin fish, so there shouldn't be anyone who would collect these water essences. Bing Ji said as he used his beak to comb his feathers. Lu Muyan's lips overflowed into an arc, then looked at Yi Qing Han and asked, "A blue bead will appear in the abdomen of the Jiangchuan Lin fish, do you guys keep it?" Although the blue beads contain some water elements, but they're of little use. The clan's warehouse seems to have collected a bunch for research purposes and hasn't been used up. Yi Qing Han thought a bit. "If you want, I'll look for it after I go back and give it to you." "Then many thanks." Lu Muyen stretched out her hand, gently flicked the head of the seven-colored parrot on her shoulder and said with a smile, "This glutinous little thing just likes to eat that kind of blue bead the most." Bing J's eyes twitched. "Little owner, right now it's obviously you who needs the essence of water, but you still blame it on me. Though the beads are useless, but they're delicious, so the more the better. But a divine beast is beneath the eaves of another, so he must bow his head one." Bing Ji could only cooperate with Lu Muyen, and so he said. Yi Qing Han chuckled softly, "No problem. The boat's docked, let's get off and wander around the city." Yi Qing Han saw that the boat had docked, so he said to the others with a smile, "Sure." After entering the main street of Luoxi City, Lu Muyen discovered that this place was several times more prosperous than the imperial capital of Yanzhou Kingdom. Sword masters riding demonic beasts were everywhere on the streets, forming a special landscape. "Are all the people living in Luoxi City Yi Clan's people?" Lu Muyen asked Yi Qing Han, who walked side by side with her. These sword masters would all respectfully greet Yi Qing Han. Most of them had demonic beasts by their sides, so they were probably all spirit beast masters. Not all. Luoxi City is a city under the jurisdiction of the Yi clan. Most of these people come from branches of the Yi clan, but there are also some who are outsider sword masters who settled here. Though, most of their identities are spirit beast masters. Yi Qing Han explained. Lu Muyan's eyes revealed understanding. No wonder the sword masters we encountered along the way basically all had demonic beasts as transportation. This really is worthy of being known as the City of Spirit Beast Masters. Although there are many Spirit Beast Masters in Luoxi City, but more than 9/10 remain as Grade 1 or 2 Spirit Beast Masters. Those Grade 3 and higher are all in the Yi clan. Speaking of this, a smile and confidence rose on Yi Qing Han's handsome face. Then Qing Han's Spirit Beast Master grade mustn't be low, right? Lu Muyen had a smile in her eyes. Yi Qing Lu smiled and said, "Elder brother is a grade 4 Spirit Beast Master." Lu Muyan's beautiful eyes revealed some appreciation. Qing Han's talent is truly outstanding. Spirit Beast Masters, like alchemists and smiths, were divided into 9 grades. Grade 3 or lower could tame demonic beasts under Tier 4, while Grade 4 could tame demonic beasts at Tier 5. Under normal circumstances, based on the Sword Master's cultivation base, the Spirit Beast Master could only control demonic beasts at least a stage lower than themselves. For example, Yi Qing Han, at Sword King cultivation base, could tame Tier 4 demonic beasts, and could only be a Grade 3 Spirit Beast Master at most. So now that he was a Grade 4 Spirit Beast Master, it belonged to a cross-stage contract, which also proved that his talent for taming beasts were excellent and powerful. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks. Being praised by Lu Muyen, the corners of Yi Qing Han's lips unconsciously raised into an arc. Ahead of us is the largest pill shop of Luoxi City. The spiritual herbs inside are relatively complete. Let's go and take a look. Sure. Shifeng's eyes also revealed some interest. Luoshi City had some special companion spiritual herbs too, which he was also very interested in. After walking for more than 30 meters, what one saw was a 3-story building with the 3 words 100 Herbs Hall written on an inscribed board in the middle. As soon as one entered the shop, 2 shop assistants immediately came up to greet them. "Young Lord, young Masters and young Misses, please come in." There were a few tables and chairs for guests to rest in the hall, all of which were filled with people. Inside, there were 2 rows of counters where the shopkeeper, who originally had his head lowered to do accounts, immediately raised his head, and greeted them with a smile after hearing the shop assistants. "Greetings, young Lord, young Masters and young Misses. Shopkeeper, take out 2 copies of your spiritual herbs list and let us have a look." Yi Qing Han said lightly. "Yes. Young Lord, young Masters and young Misses, please follow me to the distinguished guest room on the 2nd floor." The shopkeeper respectfully led the several people to a private room on the 2nd floor. Within the private room, there were a few flowers and plants placed in there, and the layout was rather refreshing, giving people a fresh and natural feeling. As soon as they sat down, 2 maidservants came in with teapots and poured tea for them. An attendant in the shop obeyed the shopkeeper's instructions and came in with 2 jade slips. The shopkeeper immediately picked them up and handed it to Yi Qing Han. "Young Lord, this is the list of all the items sold in our shop. Please take a look." Yi Qing Han handed the 2 jade slips to Lu Mu Yen and Shifeng. "Take a look to see if there are any spiritual herbs you need to purchase." Lu Mu Yen took one and scanned it with her mental energy. The items on the market in the jade slip were divided into 3 categories. The first category was the pill area. This pill shop had more than 10 types of pills for sale, basically all grade 1 and 2 pills. In a deeper column, there was a type of grade 3 pill for sale, but it was limited, and only sold to distinguished guests. The second category was the spiritual herbs area. There were more than 100 types of spiritual herbs, and among them, there were more than a dozen species of companion spiritual herbs that could only grow on the Tamer Spirit Mountain near the Yi clan, and 5 types of spiritual herbs that were main ingredients to refine grade 3 pills, also only open to distinguished guests. The third category was a medicinal resource and auxiliary products area. There were some medicinal resources that were either required by mortal humans when they were ill, or were used to refine certain grade 1 pills that promoted blood circulation. There were also those that treated internal and external injuries, as well as some medical items to support refining pills and treating illnesses. Lu Mu Yen stayed in the spiritual herbs category for the longest time and memorized the spiritual herbs she wanted. Then she scanned the medicinal materials and auxiliary category, and when she saw the Jiangchuan Lin fish bead, she paused. She looked up at the shopkeeper and asked, "You have Jiangchuan Lin fish beads for sale? These beads can be used to refine pills?" The shopkeeper saw that her temperament was extraordinary, had Sword King strength at such a young age, and was also a friend of young Lord Yi, so he replied respectfully with a smile, "The Jiangchuan Lin fish bead contains a trace of water elemental energy which can neutralize some pills' medicinal properties, making them milder and non-irritating to use, but it doesn't have much other use." Lu Mu Yen nodded and said calmly, "However many you have, I want them all." Surprise flashed past the shopkeeper's eyes. Although this Jiangchuan Lin fish bead can neutralize medicinal properties, but one didn't need to use much. Why did this young miss want so much? But he didn't dare ask more. After thinking about it, he reported a number. "There are about 200 left. I want it all." Lu Mu Yen put down the jade slip, then told him all the spiritual herbs she wanted. "However many of these spiritual herbs you have, I want that many." The smile on the shopkeeper's face couldn't be restrained. This young miss was really a big customer. Translated product by May Our Come True. A play on the idiom "when one is beneath the eaves of another, one must bow their head." Basically means that when a person isn't comparable to another in terms of status, strength, opportunity, etc., they must know to yield and be flexible. Two companion spiritual herbs are mentioned a lot in Xianxia novels, I'm pretty sure, I just don't know if it's translated the same. Basically spiritual herbs that grow alongside specific species of demonic beasts and such. The shopkeeper was smiling broadly. This was a big customer, they needed to serve her well. Mu Yan, why do you want so many spiritual herbs? Yi Qing Han was very surprised when he saw that she had asked for more than half of the 100 herbs hall's spiritual herbs. Even if this was to refine pills, she didn't need that much, right? Lu Mu Yan smiled, buying it just in case I need it unexpectedly. She wanted to form a private army in the Lu clan, so she naturally had to refine pills that could progress cultivation bases so that the 100 people could improve their strength. Although the spiritual herbs in this 100 herb hall weren't very high level, but many could be used, especially the more than a dozen types of demonic beast companion herbs which could be used to refine several useful grade 2 pills. Mu Yan, can you give me 1/3 of the dozen or so companion herbs? Shi Feng came to Luoxi City to buy some companion herbs to begin with and wasn't contending with Lu Mu Yan on purpose. He really just needed them. Sure. Lu Mu Yan smiled generously. Since she decided to befriend Shi Feng and Mu Yi, then she naturally wouldn't care about such an amount of spiritual herbs. There wasn't much expression on Shi Feng's face that appeared to have face paralysis, but there was a smile in his eyes. I can pay for your spiritual herbs today. Young Lord Shi really is generous. I'll trouble you again if I have a chance in the future. This time, I have just enough money with me. Lu Mu Yan declined gracefully. Shi Feng didn't force it either and nodded, all right. When the shopkeeper put the things Lu Mu Yan asked for in an interspatial bag and handed it to her to count, Bing Ji took the opportunity to inhale, and more than 30 or 40 water essences of the Jiangchuan Lin fish was sucked into his belly. Lu Mu Yan took a breath, resisting the urge to slap this fellow dead. It wasn't like she wasn't going to give it to him to eat. Did he need to be so impatient? People who didn't know might even think she abused her spirit pet Mu Yi, and the others were still wondering why Lu Mu Yan had to buy so many Jiangchuan Lin fish beads, but now that they saw the 7-colored parrots so impatiently devour them, they completely believed what she said before. If they also had a tier 6 spirit pet, let alone 200 beads, they'd be willing to buy even tens of thousands. After leaving the 100 herb hall, the several people went to the largest smith shop in Luoxi City. After reading the list of sale items, Lu Mu Yan quickly swept up the items she wanted as usual, making the people next to her feel that she was just too prodigal. But when they remembered how she luxuriously and crazily swallowed pills in the glacial mountain range, they felt that this was really nothing. This woman was just a prodigal lady. Wherever she went, she'd be prodigal there. In the future, whoever married her, could he even afford it? Then, Yi Qing Han took them to several other shops and Lu Mu Yan kept sweeping up their items continuously, making it so that the few people who had already calmed themselves couldn't resist but sigh again about her prodigal level. They really didn't know why she wanted to take back so many spiritual herbs and smithing spars. The question was, could she use it up herself? After practically sweeping out all the spiritual herbs and smithing spar shops, the several people went to the stream reflection restaurant Yi Qing spoke of to have a meal. The speed of Lu Mu Yan's chopsticks was very fast, and she also ate quickly, but she didn't have the appearance of being crude and rash. On the contrary, she appeared rather elegant. After being used to seeing women who chewed carefully and swallowed slowly to appear gentle, and now seeing her so straightforward, she actually felt very pleasing to the eye. Elder Sister Mu Yan, this is the most famous fresh fruit wine in the Stream Reflection restaurant. It's made from 3 kinds of spiritual fruits, hard to obtain even with thousands of gold one. Have a taste. Yi Qing picked up a transparent glass bottle on the table and poured a glass of wine for Lu Mu Yan. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks. Lu Mu Yan picked up the wine glass and saw that the red liquid inside was clear and transparent with a hint of spiritual force. She took a sip, refreshing and cool, and there was even a sweet aftertaste in her mouth. Indeed, rather good. She used to brew spiritual wine when she was bored in the immortal cultivation world as well. Now this wine hooked out the cravings in her body. After collecting several ingredients to brew spiritual wine, she would also brew some and drink it often. Yiqing poured wine for her with a smile and a little regret on her face. I love to drink this kind of spiritual wine the most, but unfortunately Stream Reflection Restaurant limits the purchase and only sells 1 bottle a month. This bottle is one that I had to make a reservation for last month. The 3 spiritual fruits in this kind of spiritual wine are relatively rare, so it's very troublesome to brew. It's normal for them to restrict sales. Shifeng took a sip and said slowly. Lu Muyen saw how willing Yiqing was pouring the wine for her, but when it came to herself, she reluctantly took small sips after small sips, and said with a smile, "If you like spiritual wine, wait until I find some ingredients to brew it. After I finish brewing, I'll get someone to send it to you, and I promise that it'll be even sweeter and more delicious than this fresh spirit wine." Muyen, you also know how to brew spiritual wine. Yiqing Han was dumbfounded. Spiritual wine on Tianling continent was even rarer than pills. An alchemist who could brew spiritual wine not only needed to be able to refine wine pills, but also needed to have talent in winemaking. More importantly, there was no recipe for brewing spiritual wine in the outside world. Even on the auctions of the Ming Chamber of Commerce Alliance, only one might appear every few decades. Seeing Yiqing Han's dumbfounded expression, Lu Muyen asked in confusion with a smile, "That's right. Is it weird to be able to brew spiritual wine? Which one of those old monsters back then in the immortal cultivation world couldn't brew spiritual wine?" For many immortal cultivators, it wasn't that they didn't care about having good food, but it was because the things from the mortal world could no longer satisfy their appetites. Hearing her utter such things so calmly like the breeze and clouds, the several people here couldn't help but hold their foreheads. What did she mean by "was it weird to be able to brew spiritual wine"? It was already shocking, all right. Stream Reflection restaurants spread all over the big cities on the entire Tianling continent because of their different types of spiritual wines. They're sold in limited quantities and can't meet the demands, making many old fellows craving it so badly they'd often come to exchange their good things for it, yet they may not even able to exchange a bottle. Yiqing Han saw Lu Muyen's eyes revealing befuddlement, so used the Stream Reflection restaurant as an example to illustrate the rareness and preciousness of spiritual wine. It was only then that Lu Muyen realized why they would look at her with such "you are not normal" eyes. "I didn't know the value of spiritual wine. When my master left, he casually tossed 2 wine recipes to me, that's why I thought a lot of people could brew spiritual wine." Lu Muyen's brain turned and blamed everything onto the head of that fabricated master. Only then did everyone reveal an understanding, and they even secretly found some excuses for her in their minds. Lu Muyen was too young, and in Yanzhou Kingdom, that sort of medium-sized small kingdom, people weren't well informed. With a master that's so generous, it was excusable to not know this. "Elder Sister Muyen, you're so amazing. When you've brewed the spiritual wine, remember to send it to me." Yiqing smiled cheerfully, with innocence and loveliness. A smile overflowed from the corners of Yiqing Han's lips. "Don't forget me as well then. Muyen, I'll order a few bottles now." "Ha! They all have it, then Muyen, you can't forget us." Mu Yi's handsome face displayed a somewhat sincere smile and took Lu Muyen into his sphere of friends. Shifeng nodded as well. "You also can't forget mine." Spiritual wine couldn't only satisfy one's desire for good food, but most importantly, it could also improve one's cultivation base, which was beneficial in removing impurities from the body after cultivating. That's why the sword masters of Tianling continent were very keen, but only very few people could afford it. "No problem," Lu Muyen said with a chuckle when she saw them reveal such rare expressions. After they finished their meal, Yi Qinglu hugged Lu Muyan's arm and asked, "Elder sister Muyan, do you want to go to the spirit pet shop for a look? This is something unique to Luoxi City and many sword masters would come here after hearing its reputation." Chapter 146, Taming Contract Skill. The spirit pet shop Yi Qinglu spoke of made Lu Muyan slightly curious. The spirit pet shop specializes in selling contract demonic beasts. Lu Muyan asked with a certain tone. Yi Qinglu nodded. There's a grade 4 spirit beast master to oversee the spirit pet shop, and there are demonic beasts that have already been tamed for sale, or you can also catch a demonic beast yourself and pay a certain fee to ask the spirit beast masters in the store to help tame and contract. This spirit pet shop must be the Yi clan's property, right? Lu Muyan smiled softly with brilliant lights and vibrant colors in her eyes. Yi Qinglu opened her eyes wide and asked with surprise, "Elder sister Muyan, how did you know that the spirit pet shop is Yi clan's property?" Even Shifeng, Mu Yi, and the others turned their head to look at her. If they hadn't already known what the Yi clan's publicized properties were, even they wouldn't have guessed that the spirit pet shop belonged to the Yi clan. Lu Muyan blinked and said with a smile, "Qing Han told me." "Me?" Yi Qing Han was dazed. When? He didn't remember telling Lu Muyan that the spirit pet shop in Luoxi City was the Yi clan's property. "Didn't you tell me before that the spirit beast masters above grade 3 in Luoxi City all belong to the Yi clan?" Just now Qinglu said that a grade 4 spirit beast master oversaw the spirit pet shop, then doesn't it indirectly prove that it's your Yi clan's property? Lu Muyan's gorgeous face swayed with a spirited and clever smile, making the surrounding men stare blankly in a daze. Yi Qing Han looked at her in amusement, and there was a pampering in his eyes that even he didn't know. "You little clever girl." Mu Yi and Yunlan also lowered their heads, smiling. Lu Muyan was indeed very intelligent. Being able to think of these from casual conversations, one could see that she indeed had a clear heart and refined nature. The few chattered and laughed along the way, and when they walked past 2 streets, they saw a spacious shop where many people entered and exited with demonic beasts beside them. Entering the shop, a sharp-eyed attendant ran to call the shopkeeper as soon as he saw the few people enter. The shopkeeper then greeted them with a smile on his face upon hearing the news. "Young Lord, young Mississippi." The shopkeeper respectfully greeted with formalities, then turned and smiled at Lu Muyan and the others, greeting, "Young sirs, young misses, please come inside." "How's business today?" Yi Qing Han asked casually. The shopkeeper replied, "Today, business is a bit lighter, about 1/10 less than usual." Yi Qing Han randomly scanned the shop, then ordered, "Take us to the 3rd floor for a look." The 1st and 2nd floors were filled with low-level demonic beasts, nothing to look at, while the 3rd floor was the treasure area. Hiss hiss. Lu Muyan was about to step upstairs when she discovered that Miao Miao, who had been wrapped around her wrist, suddenly slithered out, hissing excitedly at a corner of the 1st floor, conveying a kind of desire to her. "You all go up first, I'll take a look before going." Lu Muyan had no choice but to stop in her steps and say to the few people who had already started to go upstairs. Yi Qing Han and the others didn't know what she was going to do, but they all stopped in their steps. "No worries, we'll accompany you." Lu Muyan also knew that they wouldn't go up first, nodded, then walked in the direction where Miao Miao flicked its tongue at. When she approached, she saw dozens of gray mice in a cage in the corner. Judging from their aura, she could tell that they were Tier 2 demonic beasts. She had seen them on the continent's demonic beast record. Desolate land rat, mostly Tier 1 to 3 with no special talents of their race. Their meat was fresh and tender, and the tender meat of their entire body contained some energy like elemental energy. They were mostly used for food, and frequent eating could progress cultivation bases. Of course, only sword masters under sword spirit could progress their cultivation base with eating desolate land rats, so its general price wasn't that expensive. Miao Miao wants to eat. Lu Mu Yen gently rubbed the head of the little white snake with her finger. Hiss hiss. Meow Meow rubbed Lu Mu Yan's hand affectionately with her head, expressing a desire in her heart. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks. Lu Mu Yen would naturally meet its desires. Shopkeeper, are these desolate land rats for sale? Replying to young miss, they are for sale. The shopkeeper replied with a smile. Originally, these desolate land rats were ordered by a sword master, but some time ago, he was killed by someone when he went out, so the order was also cancelled. Now that this friend of young lord's wanted it, of course he had to cater and sell. Then he'll take it all and pay the bill together after we browse the place. Lu Mu Yan's prodigal behavior couldn't be stopped at all. The shopkeeper looked at Yi Qing Han with questioning eyes. This, store it all in a spirit beast bangle and charge the cost to my account. This was Yi Clan's property. Yi Qing Han definitely wouldn't collect Lu Mu Yan's money. Qing Han, I'd be embarrassed if you're this generous. Lu Mu Yen smiled brightly, eyebrows curved. Yi Qing Han couldn't resist stretching out his hand and flick her forehead gently, saying with a smile, I still don't know how to repay you for treating Elder Lu and Qing Lu. This little matter, it's not worth mentioning. Then he also found that his actions were too intimate, and he immediately put his hand down and coughed dryly. Let's go upstairs. Mu Yi and Shifeng both noticed Yi Qing Han's movements and expressions, and they both grew thoughtful. Yi Qing Lu secretly smiled. She had always known that elder brother had a favorable impression of Lu Mu Yen, but now it had probably upgraded to like. She was also happy to have Lu Mu Yen as her own sister-in-law in the future. Lu Mu Yen also didn't expect that Yi Qing Han, who was usually serious and a little cold, would act in such a way. Seeing that he quickly withdrew his hand and changed the subject, she also didn't lay it bare and cooperated in going upstairs. On the third floor, they could no longer see cages of demonic beasts, only more than a dozen spirit beast bangles on the counter. Each spirit beast bangle was protected by an elemental energy cover, and if one didn't have the special activation method, it couldn't be taken out. There was a jade slip outside each elemental energy light shield, which was used to introduce the situation of the demonic beasts in the spirit beast bangle. There was a middle-aged man sitting in the middle of the lobby on the third floor as well. Although his appearance was ordinary, but he had a gentle temperament, and one that made others unable to resist getting close to. Currently, he was helping contract a demonic beast that was captured by a sword master. Lu Mu Yen found a place to sit down and watched with great interest. Behind the man was a complex array. The moment the Tier 4 mystic pattern leopard was thrown into the array, it was bound by a few yellow light beams. The middle-aged man muttered a spell as his fingers kept drawing a talisman in the air in front of the mystic pattern leopard with elemental energy. Then gradually, an elemental energy array with a void spiritual seal formed. Drip a drop of your blood essence on its forehead. The man turned his head and said to the client. His voice was temperate and warm like a spring breeze. The man immediately cut his fingertip and dripped a drop of blood on the head of the mystic pattern leopard. The middle-aged man hurriedly inserted that taming spiritual seal into the mystic patterned leopard's body and used his mental energy to control it to envelop the Yaofu of the mystic patterned leopard and form a contract. Contract. He said a word gently, and a soft white light instantly enveloped the client and the mystic patterned leopard. After the white light passed, the mystic patterned leopard that was originally struggling and glaring fiercely now sat obediently by the client's side. There was a sliver of connection between the one human one beast that Lu Mu Yen could feel. The middle-aged man walked to the basin of water on the table by the window and washed his hands before walking to the several people with a gentle smile. Young lord, young miss. Great master one. Yi Qing Han and Yi Qing Lu greeted him very politely. Lu Mu Yan's lips curled into a ruminating arc. This was the first time she had seen this type of skill of taming and contracting demonic beasts. It was indeed really interesting. Great Master Wen, who was temperate and full of warm colors, was definitely not an ordinary person either. Come true. Chapter 147. This woman just wasn't a normal person. After greeting each other, Great Master Wen smiled kindly at Lu Mu Yan and the others, then walked back to the center to help the next client contract their spirit pet. In the same way, Lu Mu Yan discovered that every time Great Master Wen threw the demonic beast into the soul-locking array, the demonic beast would be bound by yellow light beams emitted from the array, the demonic soul energy weakened, and it would be easier to form a contract with. After the three queued clients finished their contracts and left, Great Master Wen said to Yi Qing Han leisurely, "Young Lord is here for what purpose today?" "I've brought a few friends over to take a look." "Great Master Wen, has the clan sent any Tier 5 demonic beasts for contracting and sale?" Yi Qing Han asked with a faint smile. This Great Master Wen was a guest elder of the Yi clan who volunteered to oversee the spirit pet shop. Hearing this, Great Master Wen pointed to the very top of the counter and said, "There are 3 Tier 5 demonic beasts for sale, young lord can take a look." Yi Qing Han nodded, walked over, and picked up 3 jade slips for a look, then asked Lu Mu Yan and the others, "Do you all want to take a look?" Lu Mu Yan already contracted 3 spirit pets and each one was of extraordinary origin. She had no interest in a spirit pet at Sword King strength. "I don't need to." Mu Yi once contracted a mutated peak phase Tier 5 snow monkey beast, so he shook his head and said, "I don't need to as well." Shi Feng and Mu Xia was interested and took a jade slip to take a look. Even Yunlan couldn't help picking one up to look at. On Tianling continent, a sword master who wasn't a spirit beast master could only contract 2 spirit pets with the help of a spirit beast master. Even those above sword venerable were no exception. For spirit beast masters, depending on one's mental energy and contract level, a grade 10 spirit beast master could contract 10 spirit pets at most, which was also the limit. Lu Mu Yan's ancient contract skill was different, however. As long as one's mental energy could support it, there was no upper limit in contracting. "Qing Han, how do you sell this Tier 5 contract demonic beast?" Yunlan put down a jade slip and asked with some desire. He came to Luoshi City this time, bringing enough purple gold coins, just to buy a contract demonic beast. He originally thought it would be good enough to buy a Tier 4 demonic beast and return to raise it slowly, but he didn't expect to encounter Tier 5 demonic beasts for sale. Yi Qing Han didn't manage his clan's affairs, so he turned his head and asked Great Master Wen, "Great Master Wen, what's the price of these 3 Tier 5 demonic beasts?" "They are all my best friends, how about giving a clan discount?" Although he's the young lord, but he didn't have the right to arbitrarily take from the clan's property without paying the bills. To be more precise, everyone, including the patriarch and the elders, didn't have the privilege. These 3 demonic beasts are the most significant products of our store, and they're only sold to specific distinguished guests. However, since the young lord's best friends want it, then I could accommodate somewhat. The original price is 6 million purple gold coins for one. My authority can only drop it by 1 million, so if the 2 sirs and young miss wants to buy it, then they require 5 million purple gold coins. Great Master Wen's words weren't hurried nor slow, making it feel as if one was bathing in a warm breeze, exceptionally comfortable. Only when Lu Mu Yan heard the tongue-tying price, did she lift her head and scan the 3 white light covers. This was a little too fraudulent, it was actually that expensive. No wonder the 3 professions that make the most money on Tianling continent were alchemists, smiths, and spirit beast masters. Of course, the most expensive jobs were the first 2 professions. After all, in order to advance, it took countless spiritual herbs and spars to start refining from a low grade. While the most dangerous profession was spirit beast master. It was risky to catch demonic beasts, and while contracting, if a demonic beast's soul energy was too strong, they could also receive backlash. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks. She stroked her chin and her eyes shone brightly. If she had no money in the future, she'd just go to the blazing and glacial mountain ranges where high-level demonic beasts roam to catch a few to contract then sell. After Yunlon heard the price, he unconsciously furrowed his brows slightly. He knew that 5 million purple gold coins was indeed a discount, but it still surpassed his estimated amount by a lot. After all, he brought purple gold coins originally to buy Tier 4 demonic beasts. He just so happened to have exactly 5 million purple gold coins on him, which was given to him before he left, specifically prepared by the Imperial family for him to use to improve his strength before the continental tournament for hegemony. That's why he hesitated between buying or not buying. Mu Xia only had around 2 million purple gold coins. Although she was from the main bloodline of the clan, but she wasn't the most valued genius, so she could only regretfully put the jade slip in her hand down. Shi Feng was the young lord of the Shi clan, and also an alchemist. He wasn't short of money at all, and the demonic beast introduced on the jade slip just so happened to have the same elemental energy attribute as him, so he didn't hesitate to take out a crystal card to transfer the money. Seeing Yunlon hesitate, Lu Mu Yen said, "Elder cousin brother, 5 million purple gold coins is too expensive, don't buy it." Little girl, 5 million purple gold coins is already considered the best price even on the entire continent. If it were at an auction, a Tier 5 demonic beast that could be contracted might require at least 7 or 8 million purple gold coins to buy. Great Master Wen said as he looked at Lu Mu Yen with a gentle smile. What I mean by expensive isn't that the price you're selling it at is expensive, but that it's not a good deal. Lu Mu Yen explained. Not a good deal. A Tier 5 demonic beast is equivalent to the strength of a Sword King. Most importantly, it's a life-saving trump card. Moreover, in the Eastern region, a Spirit Beast Master Tier 4 and above is simply too rare. Sometimes even if you had purple gold coins, you may not be able to buy a Tier 5 demonic pet. Mu Yi smiled and looked at her, teasing, "Mu Yen, aren't you a prodigal? Even you have times where you think something's not a good deal." Lu Mu Yen rolled her eyes and said without a good temper, "Do I look like I'm a foolish spender? It's not a good deal to begin with. I can go contract one myself, why waste that money? You can contract one yourself. Don't say you can contract a Tier 5 demonic beast." Mu Yi's eyes widened, an expression filled with disbelief. Lu Mu Yen poked the 7-colored parrot on her shoulder and said, "Although this Tier 6 demonic beast was caught and suppressed by someone else for me, but I contracted it myself." "What? You can contract a Tier 6 demonic beast?" Everyone present was surprised, really. Their little heart really couldn't take it. Lu Mu Yan's recent expenses were simply too huge, and she was simply too lacking in the money required to raise a powerful private army for the Lu clan. She had a plan in her heart, so she decided to reveal a trump card herself. "I can contract a Tier 6 demonic beast, but I also need it to willingly contract me," Lu Mu Yen said lightly. The several people breathed a sigh of relief. So that's how it was. In fact, as long as the demonic beast was willing, even a Grade 2 Spirit Beast Master could contract a Tier 5 demonic beast. But which demonic beast would be that stupid to willingly subdue to a human much weaker than themselves? Lu Mu Yan's Tier 6 demonic beast willingly contracted her probably because it was forcefully suppressed by her mysterious master. But then her next sentence completely broke their illusion. "But as long as their strength is inferior to me, I can contract any, so I can also contract a Tier 5 demonic beast." Lu Mu Yen appeared a little tsundere. "If elder cousin brother wants to contract a Tier 5 spirit pet, then don't bother buying it, just leave it to me. By the way, Qin Han, does your store also accept Tier 5 demonic beasts already imprinted with a contract seal?" Lu Mu Yen blinked her eyes and said, a little embarrassed, "I'm short of money recently. If I can, then I'll go catch a few Tier 5 demonic beasts these few days and sell it to your Yi clan spirit pet shop." The people present couldn't help but twitch their lips and looked up at the sky speechlessly with all kinds of jealousy, envy, and hatred in their eyes. Lu Mu Yan gave a deep blow to their initially rather strong hearts. This woman just wasn't a normal person. This kind of talent was comparable to a monster. Comparing one to another definitely could infuriate oneself to death. Come true. Chapter 148. Want to make extra money? Lu Mu Yan's words dealt a heavy blow to the favored children of heaven, but they didn't have any jealousy. Mu Yan, then does that mean you're also a spirit beast master? Yi Qing Han smiled, but there was some complexity floating at the bottom of his eyes. His final advantage in front of Lu Mu Yan also changed, but had tried to keep up with her steps. Lu Mu Yan nodded with a smile, I guess I am. It was just that her contract skill was different from those of this continent. Elder sister Mu Yan, you're really so amazing. Yi Qinglu couldn't help but give Lu Mu Yan a thumbs up, and the worship in her eyes grew even stronger. The skill of taming beasts was also taught to me by my master. Either way, whenever something was out of the ordinary, Lu Mu Yan now pushed it all onto that fabricated master. Wen Liang looked at Lu Mu Yan thoughtfully, then said with a hint of curiosity, Who might your master be, little girl? Master had never told me his name, but he called himself Old Man Tian Xianwen. Lu Mu Yan replied with a calm smile. This name wasn't actually made up randomly. When she entered the sect in her previous life, her respected master was indeed Old Man Tian Xian. But she didn't know if there was such a character on Tianling continent, though there shouldn't be such a coincidence. Wen Liang's pupils constricted slightly when he heard Old Man Tian Xian, but quickly restrained himself, and others didn't catch his expression. Great Master Wen, do you accept contract demonic beasts here? Lu Mu Yan saw Wen Liang not talking, so she guessed that he had never heard the name she spoke of, and she didn't want to continue the topic of her master either. Wen Liang was dazed for a moment, then immediately returned to his senses and smiled like a breeze, saying, Of course we accept. If young Miss can catch a Tier 5 demonic beast and imprint a contract seal, then we will buy it for 5,800,000 purple gold coins from you. The Tier 5 contract demonic beasts sold in the Yi Clan's spirit pet shop weren't open to just any sword master. Only those with certain backgrounds or conditions were eligible to buy them. The selling price was at 6 million purple gold coins, and the supply didn't meet the demands. If Lu Mu Yan could imprint a contract seal then sell it to the store, then they could still earn 200,000 purple gold coins without much effort, which was also pretty good. After all, the most difficult thing with Tier 5 demonic beasts was imprinting a contract seal. Once the contract seal was successfully imprinted into the demonic beast's Yaofu, as long as a sword master dropped some blood essence between its brows, do a simple contract skill to complete the process themselves, then it'd be done. Then that's settled. Lu Mu Yan felt that the other party's conditions were quite good. If she went to sell it in other places, then they'd definitely cheat her of millions of purple gold coins. She wouldn't have the time and energy to take them to the auction either. This was good. Watching Lu Mu Yan talk about cooperating and transactions so lightly with Great Master Wen, those beside were completely defeated by her. She didn't look like she was joking at all with such behavior. If she didn't have the confidence, then she'd never take such a job. Younger cousin sister, then I won't need that contract demonic beast. Yun Lan asked Lu Mu Yan's opinion, holding the jade slip in his hand. Lu Mu Yan took the jade slip from his hand and swept it with her mental energy, then said with a little disgust, Don't need it. What are you going to do with this type of initial phase Tier 5 demonic beast? Even if you want a contract, then we'll want one at advanced phase Tier 5 or peak phase strength. Lu Mu Yan, could you stop dealing blows to people? Wen Liang's eyes were deep, and a smile appeared on his lips. Little girl, if you can catch Tier 5 demonic beasts at middle phase, advanced phase, or peak phase, imprint a contract seal, then bring it here, the price will be even higher. How much higher? Lu Muyan's face revealed a bit of interest. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks, for every phase higher, 1 million will be added. If the demonic beast is at peak phase tier 5, then it's directly 9 million purple gold coins. The expression on Wen Liang's face didn't change much. Lu Muyan thought for a bit, then said, good. Then she asked Great Master Wen and Yi Qing Han, are there any high-level demonic beasts nearby? It would take about a month for Yi Qing less poison to be cured. Based on her previous cultivation base, she would have needed to apply needles once every day, but after advancing leaps and bounds, and also having the green sea of fog in her dantian, she only needed to apply needles once every 3 to 5 days. The rest of her time could be used to catch demonic beasts and sell them to earn some extra money. There's none nearby, but there's high-level demonic beasts in the Sunset Cloud Mountain range 3 days away from Luoxi City on a tailwind horse. Wen Liang said. Sunset Cloud Mountain range. Is it very close to Feng Hill City? She had seen the introduction of Sunset Cloud Mountain range on the map of Tianling continent. There were 3 places in that mountain range that were also listed as danger areas, but as long as they didn't cross over it, then there wouldn't be any danger. Sunset Cloud Mountain range is the only path between Luoxi City and Feng Hill City. Except for the 3 major dangerous border areas, most of the training for the pupils of the 10 distinguished clans are in the Sunset Cloud Mountain range. There's also a road connecting the 2 cities. Yi Qing Han answered. Lu Muyan's eyes lit up. Feng Hill City was the city where her maternal grandfather's Ling clan was located. She was originally planning to treat Yi Qinglu then go take a look at her elder cousin brother Ling Fei Yang's illness, but time might be a bit tight. But now it seemed that she could drop by the Ling clan to bring elder cousin brother to the Yi clan and receive treatment together with Yi Qinglu. By then, she'd save time and effort, and on the way, she could investigate any news about the Sunset Cloud Mountain range. Those tier 5 demonic beasts should all roam around the 3 major danger areas, right? Lu Muyan asked after pondering. With the fact that the young pupils of the 10 distinguished clans dared to complete their training in Sunset Cloud Mountain range, aside from the 3 major danger areas, there probably wouldn't be any tier 5 demonic beasts roaming elsewhere. Indeed, but you can encounter tier 5 demonic beasts on the borders of the 3 major danger areas. If you want to go, never ever go deep. Wen Liang paused, then continued, I've heard that the innermost part of the 3 major danger areas even has a tier 9 beast king and numerous high-level demonic beasts everywhere. Without the strength of a sword sovereign or higher, you can't go deep. I'm only going to catch some tier 5 demonic beasts, I won't go deep. By the way, does Great Master Wen know where there's a map of Sunset Cloud Mountain range for sale? Lu Muyan asked. Wen Liang replied, the map of Sunset Cloud Mountain range is sold in many places, but there are none of the 3 major danger areas. If you want to go, you'll have to explore it yourself. Alright. I've troubled Great Master Wen today. Lu Muyan wasn't disappointed either. It was better to have a map, but it didn't matter if she didn't. She was more eager to explore the unknown. With a gentle smile between Wen Liang's brows, he waved his hand, you're welcome. Then this one Wen will be here to await good news from you, little girl. Don't worry, I'll definitely do this business. Because the news that Lu Muyan was a spirit beast master was too shocking, the others also lost interest to continue to browse, so they went back to the Yi clan after casually strolling around Luoxi City. After resting for the night, Lu Muyan prepared to start treating Yi Qinglu the next day. Hearing the news, Shi Feng and the others immediately went to Yi Qinglu's courtyard and waited to watch her treatment. Even Yi Chen and Yi Shan arrived one after the other. Yi Qinglu was the family's most treasured daughter. She had excellent talents and had a natural affinity for demonic beasts. As long as she was cured of the poison and her cultivation base kept up, it was very possible to raise her to become a tier 5 spirit beast master or even higher. Therefore, she was very much valued by the clan. This time, with Lu Mu Yen curing Yi Qing Lu, the Yi clan opened their warehouse to provide all the resources for her to use. Chapter 149. Remove poison. Lu Mu Yen had already refined the pill needed to help treat Yi Qing less poison on the first night when she was preparing the treatment. In the room, Yi Zhan and the others sat quietly in the distance watching her treatment. It wasn't that they didn't believe her, but they were curious, like Shifeng. Lu Mu Yen first fed Yi Qing Lu a special grade 2 antidote pill, then the two sat cross-legged on a white marble warm jade bed. After Yi Qing Lu took the antidote pill, she ran 2 full cosmic orbits around her body, fully exerting the effects of the medicine. Lu Mu Yen had constantly been observing Yi Qing Lu's absorption and refining situation with her mental energy. When the medicinal power of the pill began to work, she formed several Taoist seals in front of her. She slowly placed her hands on Yi Qing Lu's back and slivers of spiritual energy flowed from her palm and entered into the other party's body. The green sea of fog in her dantian circulated round and round, and together with Lu Mu Yan's spiritual energy, transported into all the meridians in Yi Qing Lu's body. Because the fetal poison was overbearing and extremely poisonous, Yi Qing Lu's blood had been mixed with a lot of poison already, so the bright red blood had also turned dark red at this time, which was extremely abnormal. Lu Mu Yen wasn't hasty either. She washed the blood in her meridians over and over again with the spiritual energy that carried some green sea of fog until the dark red faded a little before moving the spiritual energy into her internal organs. Yi Qing Lu gritted her teeth tightly, enduring waves of pain. Compared to the more than 10 years of pain and suffering, she could still bear this aching. Lu Mu Yan's forehead and nose were covered in a layer of dense sweat. Using spiritual energy in such a way to remove poison was very exhausting. About 4 hours later, Lu Mu Yen had washed all parts of Yi Qing Lu's body with spiritual energy 3 times and the poison had also diminished somewhat with the spiritual energy that carried some green fog. Pu. Yi Qing Lu just felt pain in her abdomen, then she spurted out a mouthful of blood. After she spit it out, her entire body felt more relaxed, but was also very weak. Lu Mu Yen retracted the hands placed on her back and made a gesture of completion. Seeing her gesture of completion, Yi Chen immediately stood up and asked nervously, "Lu girl, how is it?" Lu Mu Yen supported Yi Qing Lu and said, "She was poisoned too deeply, and this poison is extremely overbearing. Today I only cleaned up a small part of it for her. The black blood she spewed out just now was poison, so you don't need to worry. Everything is going smoothly." Hearing what she said, everyone in the room was relieved and looked down at the ground. Sure enough, they saw that the pool of black blood was bubbling and was very corrosive. Yi Chen clenched his hands tightly. If he hadn't taken that woman back to be a concubine back then, his most beloved wife wouldn't have died, her treasured daughter wouldn't have been poisoned in the fetus and wouldn't have had to endure that kind of inhuman torture since she was a child. Although he eliminated the woman's entire clan, but his pair of children still treated him with only respect and no love, always keeping an unbridgeable distance. He had felt so guilty as he watched his daughter grow up day by day, but the fact that she couldn't survive past 18 years old also made him suffer every day in regret. Now that Lu Mu Yen finally gave him some hope, no matter what, he had to grab onto it. His daughter was his lifeblood. He'd rather die than her. Lu Mu Yen didn't know the situation between the Yi clan's father and daughter, but she had always felt that Yi Qing Han and Yi Qing Lu had a complicated relationship with their father, always deliberately keeping some distance. At this time, seeing Yi Chen's various complex expressions of contradictory pain and relief, she could only sigh. She calmed her mind and took out the golden needles made by Heavenly Frost golden crystal. A wisp of flame appeared from her fingertip, and she roasted the tip of the needles with fire, then inserted each one into Yi Qing Lu's large acupoints respectively. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks. There was also her spiritual energy entwined with green fog on the golden needles, which then penetrated into Yi Qing Lu's body bit by bit and repelled the poison. After another 2 hours, Lu Mu Yen pulled out the golden needles and said to Yi Qing Han, you take Qingla back to your room. Let a maid wash her body after a quarter of an hour. After an hour, place her into a bathtub of medicinal liquid that I formulated and heat it up, making sure the water doesn't cool. When the green water turns clear, then lift her out of the bathtub. All right. Yi Qing Han walked in front of the two of them and carried Yi Qinglu, who had already fainted, then said to Lu Mu Yen with care, you also go back to your room and rest for the night. At this time, Lu Mu Yan's spiritual energy was seriously depleted, and the green sea of fog was also a little smaller. All right. After greeting the people present, she went back to her room and poured out a few spiritual energy replenishing pills to take and recover. This girl really is a genius in pharmacology. Elder Wu said in admiration. Indeed. We wouldn't be able to learn her methods even if we watched. But it did help me realize something. Shifeng got up and walked to the pool of black blood that Yi Qinglu spat out, took out a porcelain bottle and collected some. It's good to have realizations. The comprehension abilities of you young people sure are good. This old man could only see the surface of things even after watching for so long. Then he paused and said, It'll take, fastest, almost 3 days to get to Feng Hill City. Will you be able to come back on time for acupuncture? How about I send someone to pick him up? Translated product by May Arcum. True note. Men and concubines. Enough said. Chapter 150, Miserable Bingji. It wasn't that Yichen didn't believe Lu Mu Yen, but it took 5 days at the fastest to travel to and from Feng Hill City. It was possible she wouldn't make it back in time to apply acupuncture for Yi Qinglu. That's why he proposed that the Yi clan send someone there to pick Ling Fei Yang up. Don't worry, Uncle Yi. I'll definitely be back in 5 days. Lu Mu Yen knew what he thought in his heart, so she promised. And I haven't been to see maternal grandpa for a long time, so I wanted to go see him this time. Yichen also discovered through careful observations over the past few days that although Lu Mu Yen was young, but she was very responsible. All right, then I'll trouble Lu girl to come back quickly. Lu Mu Yen checked Yi Qinglu again, and when there was no sign of any problems, she prepared to leave the Yi clan. Yi Qing Han, Mu Yi, and the others were also interested in the Tier 5 demonic beasts in Sunset Cloud Mountain Range, so they decided to go with her. That afternoon, the several people met in the main courtyard of the Yi clan. Mu Yen, how do we go? Yi Qing Han took out a spirit beast ring and said, I have a Tier 4 flying mount here which is faster than riding a tailwind horse. Lu Mu Yen ripped off the lazy Bing Ji from her shoulder and threw him to the ground. No worries, we'll use my spirit pet to fly. At his speed, we can reach Feng Hill City in less than a day. Although the cultivation base of Bing Ji was suppressed by Ming Xiu to Tier 6 demonic beast, but his flying ability wasn't affected as much. As long as he let free of his speed to travel, he would probably be dozens of times faster than a Tier 4 demonic beast. Of course, this thing was very lazy, so it'd be pretty good already if he could control his speed to arrive within a day. Little owner, you're beautiful and brilliant and lovely, so couldn't you be gentler? Bing Ji stood on the ground and glared at Lu Mu Yen, then pursed his lips and continued to say, if you keep not acting like a woman, be careful that man would. But he had yet to finish speaking when Lu Mu Yen choked his neck with elemental energy, her eyes filled with threats. The mouth of this stinky bird really was too cheap that he almost told everyone about Ming Xiu. Hurry up and change back to your original form. You must arrive in Feng Hill City in 1 day, otherwise I'll pluck all your feathers out. Lu Mu Yen said viciously. This stinky bird was just owing a beating. Bing Ji raised his head in dissatisfaction and still wanted to bargain, but when he saw Lu Mu Yen suddenly hold the golden ring in her hand to play with, he immediately shriveled. That thing was given to little owner by that damned man, but it just happened to be able to suppress his demonic energy. The most important thing was that it was able to bind his mouth to prevent him from talking. Wouldn't that suffocate him to death? He didn't dare to try to provoke Lu Muyan's prestige anymore. He knew that this woman usually looked easy to talk to, but when she was really angered, she'd definitely pluck out all his feathers. A 7-colored, dazzling bright light lit up. All Yi Qinghan and the others saw was the 7-colored parrot on the ground instantly turn into a tall and mighty, huge cyan blue-colored ice swan with smooth and shiny feathers. This is a descendant of a cyan swan. Mu Yi stared at Bing Ji with shock in his eyes. The pressure of a superior demonic race from the other party was too dense, only a divine beast could exude this kind of aura. Meanwhile, after Bing Ji revealed his original form, an elderly man and an elderly woman, who sat cross-legged in a secret area with dense spiritual force in the Yi clan, opened their eyes at the same time and looked in the same direction in surprise. This is the aura of a divine beast, the elderly woman said slowly. The elderly man pinched his fingers and swept his mental energy in that direction, then nodded and said, "It turns out to be a descendant of the Cyan Wan. But it's just a tier 6 ice Wan." There were a few fluctuations in the elderly woman's calm eyes. Could it be a junior in the clan who contracted it? Wait as I ask. The elderly man took out a talisman and inserted some elemental energy. Then the talisman flew out with a shoo. The Ice Swan was an extremely rare demonic beast on Tianling continent, and was also a descendant of a divine beast. If a junior from the clan contracted it, then they could spend some energy to raise them. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks. Not long after, Yi Qin respectfully stood in front of the two of them and reported what had occurred in the past few days, including the owner of the Ice Swan. You mean that the Ice Swan is the contracted spirit pet of that little girl who came here to cure Qinglu? The elderly woman asked without much expression. Replying to ancestor, indeed. The elderly man's eyes revealed a touch of interest. How could she, a little girl at the Sword King level, contract a tier 6 descendant of a divine beast? There's a mysterious master behind the Lu clan's little girl. It is said that the person helped suppress the Ice Swan for her to forcefully contract. And the marrow cleansing pill that Qing Han had taken before was also given by the little girl. Yi Qin replied respectfully with a hint of protectiveness in his tone. The elderly man thought for a moment in silence, then said, "After Qing Le's poison is cleared, you bring her to see us here in the secret area." Yes. Lu Muyan didn't know that the Yi clan's ancestors had interest in her. Currently, the several people were sitting on top of Bing Ji, drinking tea. Bing Ji's back could extend a lot and the feathers in the middle could even be erected to form a circle around them, sheltering them from wind and rain. So Lu Muyan thought that she might as well get Bing Ji to erect the feathers into the shape of a room. Then she placed a table on his back and took out some spiritual tea to drink. Bing Ji flew as he smelt the faint fragrance of tea and cried inwardly. Why did he have to work so hard and bitterly as a mount while those bastards could sit on him, drinking tea and chatting? Thinking of it, he regretted why his mouth and hands had to be cheap back then and teased that beautiful, red-clothed man. If that hadn't occurred, he would have snatched the heavenly frost golden crystal long ago and continued to live freely and easily in the glacial mountain range. The only thing that comforted him was that Lu Muyan was a generous owner and she was never reluctant nor pained when supplying he and the two other spirit pets with spars, spiritual herbs, and pills. Although those things weren't very effective for him as a tier 8 demonic beast, but he believed that one day, Lu Muyan, this little woman who was filled with mystery, could refine a high-level pill for him to have his fill. This was also one reason that he usually didn't go against Lu Muyan's orders. Using the words of that woman, this was a type of bet, and he put all his chips on her. Bing Ji controlled his speed and flew slowly, fearing that it would scare the others if he were too fast, and arrived at Feng Hill City the next morning. Outside Feng Hill City, Lu Muyan told Bing Ji to return to his form as a 7-colored parrot. When entering the city, one also needed to pay a certain amount of entrance fees. After paying the fee, the several people headed straight to the city lord's mansion. Foam Hill City was also constructed to be very large, and its prosperity was not inferior to that of Luoshi City. Most sword masters walking on the streets carried long swords on their backs, and the entire city gave a sense of remoteness and solemnity. But this wasn't surprising. It was just like Luoshi City of the Yi clan, where spirit beast masters walking with demonic beasts could be seen everywhere. The Ling clan was well known for their sword skills, especially their ability to fly on swords at the Great Sword Master stage, showing the special characteristics of their sword skills. Most other sword masters could only barely use the plentiful elemental energy in their bodies at sword spirit stage to fly on the sword. In Lu Muyan's memory, she knew the route to the city lord's mansion. When the several people arrived at the city lord's mansion, they saw 2 guards standing at the door. "This is the city lord's mansion, please stop." One person stepped forward and said to the several people without any expression. Ever since Lu Muyan started chasing after Qi Yi Xian, she seldom followed her mother to Foam Hill City. It had been 5 years since the last time she came, so it was normal for the guards to not recognize her. She was just about to explain when, suddenly, a joyful voice sounded from the side. "Young Miss Cousin 1. Are you young Miss Cousin?" Translated product by May R. Come True. Chapter 151, seemingly far in the horizon but actually right in front of you, young Miss Cousin. "You're young Miss Cousin, right?" The voice of joy and excitement sounded, and Lu Muyan saw a sturdy old man walking towards them when she looked to the direction of the voice. Uncle Zhen. She recognized this man as the chief steward of the Ling mansion, and also an old man who had followed her maternal grandfather for many years. "It's really young Miss Cousin. 5 years have passed, you've really grown into a big miss." Ling Zhen walked to Lu Muyan and said with a smile. Compared to 5 years ago, the young Miss Cousin now had undergone earth-shaking changes. Not only did she have beauty that could cause the downfall of a country, but the change in temperament almost made him unable to recognize her. With an otherworldly and refined temperament, along with a sense of uninhibitedness and boldness, he had never seen a second young girl like this in the younger generation. "Uncle Zhen, is my maternal grandpa here?" Lu Muyan asked with a smile. "He's here. Who knows how many times Patriarch has thought of you before. If you want to come to the Ling clan, you should have sent a message and Patriarch could send someone to pick you up." Lu Muyan smiled lightly and said, "Isn't it so that I could surprise my respected grandpa?" "Haha, that's right. Patriarch will definitely be very happy to see you." Ling Zhen laughed happily, then seeing the few people standing beside Lu Muyan, he was stunned. He had only paid attention to young Miss Cousin just now and didn't expect that these 3 young lords also came. Young lords and third prince are truly rare guests. Please quickly come in. Ling Zhen curbed his affection for Lu Muyan and was very polite to the 4 of them. "Well, trouble elderly steward," Yi Qing Han said. After Ling Zhen led the group into the city lord's mansion, they went straight into the hall, and he ordered a guard next to him to invite Patriarch. Not long after the few people sat down in the hall, an old man who walked swiftly as if flying, with a ruddy complexion and who looked about 50 years old walked in. Behind him followed 2 middle-aged men and Ling Fei Hao. "I heard that my family's mischievous little girl is here." Before the person themselves even entered the door, his sonorous voice entered first. Lu Muyan stood up and greeted him with a lively smile. "Maternal grandpa really is a treasured sword that doesn't age, truly still elegant as usual. Even more energetic than paternal grandfather." "Huh, stinky girl. I haven't seen you for a few years and this mouth sure knows what to say now." Ling Hongzhuo gazed at Lu Muyan softly and praised, "My family's stinky girl is naturally beautiful. Just how old are you and you're already so gorgeously beautiful? I wonder how many young talents would be enamored by you in the future." The corner of Lu Muyan's lips twitched and glared at him, shameless old man. Ha, stinky girl also knows how to be shy. Having not seen his granddaughter for many years, Ling Hongzhuo missed her dearly, so the moment he saw her, he just wanted to joke around dotingly. Yi Qinghan and the three others immediately got up and greeted Ling Hongzhuo formally. Junior greets Patriarch Ling. No need to be so polite. You all must be tired after following this stinky girl. It'll get some people to take you down to wash up and have a good rest. Ling Hongzhuo's expression was harmonious. The four of them also knew that the Ling family and Lu Muyen had private things to say, so they all smiled and responded, then this junior will leave first. After the four of them left, Ling Hongzhuo patted Lu Muyan's head lightly and said, "Little heartless stinky girl, only now do you remember to come see maternal grandpa." Lu Muyan also knew that her maternal grandfather's temperament was more like an old naughty boy than her paternal grandfather, so she smiled and wrapped her arms around his, saying, "Before, I was trash, so I was afraid that I'd blacken maternal grandfather's name. Now that I've washed away the name of trash, I've come to see you, my respected grandpa, and make you happy too. You stinky girl. When did I ever feel disgust towards you being trash? Whether you're trash or whether you're a genius, you're all my, Ling Hongzhuo's, granddaughter." Ling Hongzhuo was helped by Lu Muyen to sit in the main seat. Lu Muyen stood next to him respectfully and smiled, saying, "Yes. Of course I'm your granddaughter any time. Isn't it all just because I wanted to give you a pleasant surprise? Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks, no pleasant surprise, but there sure are a bunch of shocking terrors." Ling Hongzhuo rolled his eyes at her without a good attitude. Lu Muyen also didn't mind and giggled merrily to gloss over the situation, then addressed the two middle-aged men who entered the door last. "Second maternal uncle, third maternal uncle. Muyen has really grown up. No wonder they say that when women grow they change 18 times 1. Lu Muyan's second maternal uncle, Ling Ziming, praised with a smile. Lu Muyen used to be a domineering and willful little girl. Who knew that it had only been 5 years' time and she'd grow to look so slim and graceful with an outstanding temperament? Where's little maternal uncle? Lu Muyen had 4 maternal uncles in total. The most awesome and powerful maternal uncle was missing, second maternal uncle and third maternal uncle were relatively more mediocre, while little maternal uncle was also an active and influential figure. Your little maternal uncle traveled to the southern region. Third maternal uncle Ling Ziwen said. Ever since the conversation with Yi Zhan, Lu Muyen also had a broader, general understanding of Tianling continent. She furrowed her brows and said, "Isn't it dangerous to travel to the southern region? He's already an adult. If he wants to venture into the world, then let him. It's useless to try to detain him." Ling Hongzhuo waved his hand dismissively and said indifferently, "When one's son grows up, their heart grows wild. Especially his youngest son and eldest son who were both outstanding talents. It was a waste to detain them in this small world that was the Ling clan." Lu Muyen thought a bit, then nodded, "That's true. Little maternal uncle's that smart, so he should be fine. Stinky girl, let's talk. What's the main purpose of you coming to the Ling clan this time?" Ling Hongzhuo looked at Lu Muyen with a smile that wasn't quite a smile. He had long heard that this girl had changed, but he didn't expect the change to be so big. But this was fine too, this way, she wouldn't be bullied by others. "Of course I'm here to visit maternal grandpa and my maternal uncles," Lu Muyen said with a smile, confident and justly. "I learned a medical skill and I also came to remove the poison for elder cousin brother Fei Yang. Stinky girl, I also heard that you're an alchemist now, but the poison in Fei Yang's body isn't that easy to cure." Mentioning his most highly thought-of grandson, Ling Hongzhuo's face grew sullen. After Ling Fei Yang was injured and poisoned, he had invited a number of physicians and alchemists to come for treatment, but they all had no idea. In the end, he invited a high-level alchemist from the Mu clan to refine a type of pill that suppressed the poison into his 2 legs, and only then was his life saved. It wasn't easy to completely get rid of the poison, but they hadn't completely given up yet. As long as there was a chance, they wanted to seize it. Maternal grandpa, the little princess of the Yi clan, Yi Qinglu, you all know of her, right? Naturally we know. That child is also pitiful. She had been tortured by the fetal poison since young, and they also invited who knows how many physicians and alchemists, yet still couldn't be cured. Ling Hongzhou sighed, then asked Lu Mu Yen, what are you mentioning her for? Don't tell me the poison in her body was cured by someone. Although the poison in her body hasn't been completely eliminated, but soon it will be. Lu Mu Yen said. What? Ling Hongzhou exclaimed in disbelief. Even Ling Ziming and Ling Ziwen revealed gazes of incredulity. Yi Qinglu's fetal poison was known among the 10 distinguished clans as extremely difficult to cure. Not long ago, there was even news that spread that she wouldn't live past 18 years old. Who would have thought that it was mostly cured now? Who has that ability to cure that kind of fetal poison? Ling Hongzhuo's tone appeared to carry some excitement. If that kind of domineering and powerful fetal poison could even be cured, then the person who cured it must have exceptional medical skills. Fei Yang's legs would also have hope. Ling Ziming and Ling Ziwen both watched Lu Mu Yen expectantly, waiting for her to speak. Ling Fei Yang was the most promising heir of the clan in the younger generation, and they also hoped that he could get rid of the chronic illness and stand up one day in the future. Lu Mu Yen chuckled lightly, pointed her finger at herself and said, seemingly far in the horizon but actually right in front of you too. Translated product by May R. Come True. Seemingly far in the horizon but actually right in front of you. Lu Mu Yen smiled and pointed to herself as she said to them, her eyes gleaming with light, emanating a brilliant self-confidence that startled them. Is what stinky girl, you're saying true? Ling Hongzhuo reached out and flicked Lu Mu Yan's forehead. It wasn't that he didn't believe in his granddaughter, but it was just too unbelievable. An old ancestor of the Mu clan couldn't even get rid of the poison, but his granddaughter can cure it? Ling Ziming also smiled helplessly and said, Yenner, don't joke with us anymore. Lu Mu Yen looked at the sky speechlessly. In fact, when she treated Yi Qinglu, everyone also just had an attitude of giving it a try. They didn't show it on the surface, but they didn't believe. Though this was normal. After all, her age was still too young right now. Maternal grandpa, second maternal uncle, third maternal uncle, you've also seen Yi Qinghan and the others come with me. This shows that I don't have a shallow relationship with him. After a pause, Lu Mu Yen added, I need to rush back to give Yi Qinglu acupuncture in 5 days, so this time I also specifically came to take elder cousin brother Fei Yang to the Yi clan for treatment. A month later, he'll be going to participate in the continental tournament for hegemony. Is this true? A stormy sea tossed about in Ling Hongzhuo's heart, but when he saw his granddaughter's radiant eyes, he couldn't help but to believe, all right. I believe Yenner will definitely cure Fei Yang's illness. Ling Ziwen remembered the look in Yi Qinghan's eyes when he looked at Lu Mu Yen before he left, and also felt that the relationship between the two was indeed not simple. If that's the case, then it'd be excellent. They all saw the pain Ling Fei Yang suffered in the past few years and they also never gave up treatment. If Lu Mu Yen could really cure him now, then it'd be a happy thing for everyone. I want to go see elder cousin brother Fei Yang now. Lu Mu Yen said. Ling Fei Hao recovered from the shock and immediately stepped forward, took her hand, and quickly pulled her out the door. As he walked, he yelled to the others inside, I'll bring Yenner to find eldest brother. Watching the back of the two leaving, Ling Ziming said with a complicated expression, I wonder if Mu Yen can really cure Fei Yang. The girl has already changed. I believe her. Ling Hongzhuo stroked his beard and said firmly. Lu Mu Yan had changed a lot since she was injured by the person from the Gu clan last time. He had heard of many things as well. If there wasn't some fortuitous encounter, then it was definitely impossible. The little girl's medical skills were even more amazing. He believed that the mysterious master behind her doted on her very much, and he was willing to believe that his granddaughter wouldn't lie. Lu Mu Yan followed Ling Fei Hao to a secluded, quiet courtyard at the back. After they pushed open the courtyard gate, they saw a garden with flowers in full bloom, as brilliant as brocade, filled with the scent of spring. Following a path to the end was a maple forest. The red maple leaves whirled in the air and fell with the wind as the sun shone through the dense maple leaves, reflecting scattered, warm light. There was a stone pavilion in the depths of the maple forest. From a distance, they could see a man in a wheelchair holding a book and savoring it. Elder cousin brother Fei Yang ordered someone to plant this maple forest. Lu Mu Yan remembered that this yard didn't have this scenery when she came 5 years ago. Ling Fei Hao sighed. Ever since eldest brother couldn't walk anymore, he fell in love with planting flowers and trees. This red maple forest was planted by himself. Lu Mu Yan swept the area of the red maple forest, pondered for a bit, then said, "It can be seen that elder cousin brother Fei Yang actually hasn't given up on himself. He has always had hope in his life. Otherwise how could he plant red maple trees that represented endurance, forging ahead ceaselessly and the love of life? Although eldest brother has been paralyzed for so long, but I've never seen sadness on his face. He's always bearing it quietly, which makes my heart hurt. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks, let's go, he's discovered us." Seeing Ling Fei Yang, who was originally reading the book, lift his head, Lu Mu Yan walked over with a gentle smile on her lips. Ling Fei Yang was older than her by 5 years. When they were children, every time she came to the Ling clan, he would take her to play around, tolerating and spoiling her. She had a lot of affection for this elder cousin brother. After walking in, Lu Mu Yan saw that the young man in the wheelchair had handsome features, was elegant and cultured, carrying a bookish air which made people develop a favorable impression of him even at first sight. "Yenner is here." Ling Fei Yang's voice was like tinkling spring water, clear and graceful, very pleasant to the ears. Lu Mu Yan smiled. "Elder cousin brother, long time no see. Yenner has grown into a big girl now." Ling Fei Yang revealed a doting smile and was truly fond of this younger cousin sister of hers with all his heart. Lu Mu Yan walked to the other side of him and sat down, then poured herself and Ling Fei Hao some tea upon smelling the fragrance of the tea. Ling Fei Yang raised his lips with a gentle smile, his temperament as gentle as jade. His eyes were pure black, as if a peaceful land that had never been contaminated, clean and comfortable. "What book is elder cousin brother reading?" Lu Mu Yan shifted her gaze to the book in Ling Fei Yang's hand. Ling Fei Yang chuckled and handed the book to her, "A book that can help my heart be calm like water." Lu Mu Yan took the book and scanned the pages. This was a Buddhist scripture. The scriptures within were rather deep and profound. Lu Mu Yan could see that this seemingly ordinary Buddhist scripture was actually a manual. Can eldest cousin brother comprehend the true meaning of the Buddhist scripture? I only understand the surface of things. The true meaning is too profound. I only have a superficial understanding. Ling Fei Yan's eyes were bright. Yenna knows the true meaning of this Buddhist scripture. I don't know. Lu Mu Yan shook her head and said, "But I believe that if elder cousin brother thoroughly comprehends this Buddhist scripture, then you'll definitely obtain unexpected benefits." "What sign language are you two speaking in?" Ling Fei Hao took a sip of tea and flipped through the Buddhist scriptures randomly, then asked in confusion, "Isn't this just an ordinary Buddhist scripture? What unexpected benefits can you get?" "I actually think eldest brother is better off reading it less, otherwise you'll almost become a monk without any desires." Ling Fei Yang laughed when he heard his words. "The difference between you and Yenna really isn't just a little bit. Elder cousin brother Fei Hao, your personality is only suited to gossip about the secrets of the men in the 10 distinguished clans. Such deep questions aren't suitable for you. Lu Mu Yen also laughed aloud, teasing. Ling Fei Hao wasn't stupid. He naturally heard from their words that the two of them felt that he was too hasty, so he huffed, "It's so unkind of you two to unite and ridicule me." Lu Mu Yen and Ling Fei Yang couldn't help laughing aloud. After a while, Ling Fei Yang personally raised the teapot to fill Lu Mu Yan's cup. Why did Yeners suddenly come to the Ling clan this time? After Ling Fei Hao brought back news that Lu Mu Yen could have fallen at the glacial mountain range, the Ling clan felt exceptional grief. Fortunately, the news that she had returned to the Lu clan safely was received not long ago, which helped everyone walk out of that grief. This time she came to the Ling clan quietly without any news, so there must be some situation. Lu Mu Yen looked at him with a smile and said, "Naturally to come and treat elder cousin brother Fei Yang's illness." This sentence instantly dropped a stone in the originally calm lake of Ling Fei Yang's heart, beginning waves upon waves of ripples. Chapter 153, Blood Curse Poison. Ling Fei Yang's calm, black eyes were filled with deepness that others couldn't understand. When he heard Lu Mu Yan's words, his heart was uncontrollably beaten. Ever since he was paralyzed and in a wheelchair, he had never given up the hope of continuing to survive. But as time went by, after countless physicians and alchemists came and went, the final result had always been helplessness. It had been 3 years. From the initial anticipation and excitement, to the calmness of his heart now. He just never expected that one sentence could make his dried-up heart slowly come alive as if it had been watered. "Yenner, how would you treat me? Let me take a look at the poison in your body first." Lu Mu Yen placed her teacup down, reached out to hold Ling Fei Yan's wrist, and checked quietly. Lu Mu Yen felt Ling Fei Yang's arteries, then extended a sliver of mental energy and spiritual energy with some green mist into his body to check bit by bit. The meridians weren't blocked, and although the cultivation base was slow because of the poison, it didn't stop either. She probed deeper. After a while, her willow brows furrowed together unconsciously. There was a trace of black energy wound around the dantian with a disgusting aura of death. Passing the dantian, she headed towards his thigh and found that all the poison in Ling Fei Yang's body had been suppressed by the ancestor of the Mu clan in the calves. Taking a look with her mental energy, the meridians of the calves had already begun to show signs of deterioration, the bone and blood had long been stained dark red, and traces of poison like black threads continued to coil around. She retracted her hand and sighed. "Elder cousin brother Fei Yang has been tortured a lot in the past few years. At least more than 10 hours a day, your calves would be in extreme pain." Ling Fei Yang smiled faintly, used to it. Hearing his calm words like the wind and clouds, without any fluctuations in emotions, Lu Mu Yen couldn't help but feel sour in her heart, as well as admiration. This kind of poison wasn't only very poisonous, but it had also been cursed. The black thread circling the dantian and the calves were the resentments produced by an evil spirit that were refined by the devil cultivator. Her eyes gradually cooled. "Elder cousin brother Fei Yang, is the person who poisoned you still alive? Do you still remember what he looks like?" "Alive. He injured me, but I also heavily injured him. But I'm sure he won't be in life-threatening danger." Ling Fei Yang paused, then said, "I'll remember his appearance even if he turned to ashes." When Lu Mu Yen saw Ling Fei Yang mentioning the person who put him in such pain that made one wish he was dead, there wasn't much resentment on his face. She sighed inwardly that this elder cousin brother's temperament truly had been toughened a lot over the years. He probably also understood the majority of that scripture. But this also had its advantages. In the future, when the poison in his body was removed, with Ling Fei Yang's current character and composure, his future achievements would definitely not be low. Good fortune laid within the bad and bad fortune lurked within the good. When elder cousin brother has time, please paint a portrait of him for me. Lu Mu Yan's voice was grim. What does Yenner want his portrait for? Ling Fei Yang asked in a daze, puzzled. Lu Mu Yan raised an eyebrow with a rare sternness between her brows, naturally so that we can deal with the person as they've dealt to you, making him live worse than death. Ling Fei Yang didn't expect Lu Mu Yan to say such words, and a warmth rose on his handsome face. Yenner, your temper sure has become bolder and more domineering having not met in a few years. If you owe a favor, you must repay it, and if you have feuds, then you must repay it hundredfold. This is how I deal with things now. Lu Mu Yan raised her head and smiled. Regardless of whether it was her past life or present, dealing with situations using this law had been deeply engraved into her soul. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks, that's very good. Ling Fei Yang had admiration in his eyes. Yenner should be like this. You won't be bullied by others in the future. That's right. In the future, only I'll bully others. And if others want to bully me, then I'll peel off a few layers of their skin. Lu Mu Yan raised her chin, looking very much tsundere. Ling Fei Yang watched her amusedly. Yenner's temperament is very good right now. Only in this way could she survive in this world where strength was respected. Elder cousin brother, how much do you know about the poison in your body? Lu Mu Yan thought for a bit then asked. I only know that there's a vicious blood curse in the poison that the devil cultivator cast, but it's also precisely because of this curse that all the physicians and alchemists who have taken a look at me couldn't treat it. Ling Fei Yang said. Lu Mu Yan nodded. This kind of iniquitous skill is refined using the evil spirit's resentments. After mixing it with poison, it's indeed difficult to cure with pills or medicines. Hearing Yenner's tone, you understand this sort of iniquitous skill. Ling Fei Yang's dull eyes revealed more expectancy. Not only do I understand, but I can also cure this kind of blood curse. She understood these things really thanks to when she turned into a mortal and traveled to that place that prospered in goo poison and curses and learned of it. Ling Fei Yang was slightly startled. Before he could speak, Ling Fei Hao grabbed Lu Mu Yan's arm and said excitedly, Yenner, can you really cure the blood curse in eldest brother's body? But because this blood curse is very insidious, I have to prepare some things and arrange an array before I can do anything. After the blood curse is resolved, it'll be much easier to remove the poison in elder cousin brother Fei Yang's body. This type of curse contained the curse giver's blood essence and resentment, so it was very troublesome to resolve. Ling Fei Yang nodded with a smile and said, as long as I can dispel the curse and poison in my body, then I'm willing to try any method. I believe in Yenner. Don't worry elder cousin brother Fei Yang, I'll make sure you stand up again. Lu Mu Yan smiled and that self-confidence that scorned the heavens was unconsciously revealed again. Ling Fei Yan's heart moved. Mu Yan, this little girl, really was different. No matter whether it could be cured or not, he believed that she'd do her best. Yenner, then when will you start to remove the curse for my eldest brother? Ling Fei Hao controlled his excitement and asked. I'm currently removing poison for Yi Qing Lo in Luoxi City. Elder cousin brother Fei Yang's situation with poison is somewhat similar to hers. I came this time to bring elder cousin brother back to the Yi clan for treatment together. Lu Mu Yan said bluntly. Although Ling Fei Yang and Yi Qing Lo were inflicted with different poisons, but they both needed medicated baths to soak in. In treating them together, 1, they would be able to encourage each other, and 2, it was also more convenient for her to prepare medicinal liquids and apply acupuncture. Ling Fei Yang was silent for a moment, then lifted his head and asked, the Yi clan rarely interacted with the Ling clan. If I went to Luoxi City for treatment, will it affect their neutral attitude that they've maintained? It won't. I've already discussed it with the patriarch of the Yi clan. Lu Mu Yan had thought of this layer long ago, so what if it's affected? Even the Yi clan's not afraid, what are we afraid of? I was thinking too much. As expected, Yenner is a perceptive person. Ling Fei Yang lowered his head and smiled. Lu Mu Yen was right. The Ling clan was currently suffering from internal and external troubles, so what was there to worry about? Since the Yi clan's patriarch dared to let him go to Luoshi City for treatment, then he was probably prepared to be dragged into the water together. Elder cousin brother is a smart person, you've just been too scrupulous before. In fact, the three clans of Yi, Shi and Mu are already secretly united, and the Axayan, Shui and Lu clan have also formed an alliance. They've long broken the rule that the 10 distinguished clans can't join forces together unilaterally. We naturally don't need to follow it anymore either. Lu Mu Yen said. Ling Fei Yang's white and slender fingers tapped on the wheelchair's armrest lightly and gradually saw the direction where the Ling clan should be headed for in the future. Translated product by May Our Come True Note. Welp, wasn't it that in chapter 62, I checked haha, they were certain the devil cultivator was dead? XD but could have been a misunderstanding on Ling Yuzin's, LMY's mother's, part. Or a plot hole XD. Chapter 154, The Three Danger Areas That Could Move. Seeing that Ling Fei Yang had sunk into thought, Lu Mu Yen also didn't bother him. As the future heir to the Ling clan that had been decided long ago, he had already taken on heavy responsibilities now, and she knew that he was willing to do things for the Ling clan. Yenner, why do you know so many things now? Ling Fei Hao remembered the pills and drug powder that Lu Mu Yen stuffed them in the glacial mountain range and couldn't resist asking. Lu Mu Yen thought for a while, then repeated what she said to the Lu clan. I entered a dreamland after being injured by Gu Yen Ran. In the dreamland, I went to a continent that didn't exist here and I stayed there for a long time, so I also naturally learned a lot of things. Your alchemy skills were also learned in that continent. Ling Fei Hao paused, then asked slowly. Indeed. Who in the Ling clan that she could trust, she knew in her heart, so she didn't conceal anything. They're all relatives who were exceptionally good to her and they're also the family she was determined to protect. Ling Fei Hao's eyes widened and said, so that means the mysterious master behind you is all fake. Basically. Lu Mu Yen smiled, then said to him gravely, but you're not allowed to tell anyone. Ling Fei Hao rolled his eyes at her, and the corner of his lips couldn't stop rising. You think we're fools, huh? You definitely can't tell anyone about something like this, otherwise trouble will come. If other people knew that there was no mysterious master behind Lu Mu Yen and everything she knew came from her fortuitous encounters in that dreamland, then there would definitely be a lot of people who would covet it. There may even be powerhouses who would do some despicable and sinister things to want to take it for themselves, such as soul-searching. As long as you know. You're all my most trusted family, so I won't hide it from you. Lu Mu Yen smiled softly. Ling Fei Yang and Ling Fei Hao both revealed a touch of being visibly moved. This kind of trust made their heart very warm. Good Yenner, then did you refine the marrow cleansing pill yourself? Ling Fei Hao asked, rubbing his hands. Lu Mu Yen took out 2 porcelain bottles and tossed it to them, looking at him amusedly and said, of course I refined it. I wanted to give them to you before going to the glacial mountain range, but I was afraid that someone would find out and cause trouble, so I left it till now. Yenner, you're too awesome. Ling Fei Hao took the porcelain bottle carefully and put it away. Lu Mu Yen could even refine a pill of such a grade and with such heaven-defying power. There were indeed some fortuitous encounters in the dreamland, but it also meant that her talent was extremely abnormal. If it were him who entered, without that talent, even if he knew the pill formula, he wouldn't be able to refine it. The conditions for beginning an alchemist were actually very harsh. First, one must comprehend the fire elemental energy law, otherwise they wouldn't be able to use fire to refine pills. Second, one must be able to comprehend the wood elemental law. Only then could one better comprehend the essence of refining spiritual herbs. The reason why alchemists on Tianling continent were so rare was because there were so few people who met these two conditions. I've just got some better luck. Lu Mu Yen smiled in a rare display of modesty. Luck is also a part of strength. If Yenner hadn't been able to comprehend the dual attributes of fire and wood elemental energy law, then you wouldn't have been able to turn an opportunity into strength. Ling Fei Yang returned from his thoughts, rubbed the white porcelain bottle in his hands and said with a faint smile. Lu Mu Han smiled and lifted her chin. That's only natural. Just look at from which clan I've come from. The Lu and Ling clans didn't lack prodigies the most. She actually didn't say those words because she was arrogant and conceited. The Lu and Ling clan's pupils did indeed have many talented heirs, but their development was restricted only because of resources and other practical conditions. If these people were moved to the distinguished clans of the southern and northern regions, she believed that after they came out, even if they wouldn't be a major influence in one area, but they wouldn't be worse than pupils that came from certain big clans who were piled up with drugs and excelling resources. Yenner is indeed very good. Ling Fei Yang said, chuckling. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks. Such a Lu Mu Yen was very lively, bold, and self-confident, which was very likable. They chatted again for a long time before leaving this red maple forest. The second day, Lu Mu Yen accompanied her respected grandfather for a day, then wandered around Feng Hill City with Yi Qing Han and the others. Early the third day, they bid farewell, sat on Bing Ji, and flew towards the three danger areas of Sunset Cloud Mountain. Looking at the ice lawn that disappeared in the yard, Ling Ziming had yet to recover. Yenner actually contracted a Tier 6 descendant of a Scion 1, it truly is surprising. Ling Hongzhuo laughed merrily, Yenner is naturally the best. Yesterday when Lu Mu Yen gave him 10 marrow cleansing pills, it almost frightened him to unconsciousness. When he knew that she refined it herself, he was even more stunned and couldn't say a word. So it turned out that his family's Yenner had experienced that kind of fortuitous encounter, that's why she had changed so much. This was a great fortune. And it was also as the divine seer had said, Lu Mu Yen was reborn after dying. Her future prospects were unlimited, so it shouldn't be surprising that she was able to contract a descendant of a divine beast. The Ling clan's brothers naturally also found out about Lu Mu Yan's fortuitous encounter and also couldn't resist nodding in agreement. They only hoped that when Fei Yang returned this time, his legs had already recovered the ability to walk. Bing Ji deliberately suppressed his flying speed and maintained the flight speed of a Tier 6 demonic beast, but it was still very fast. It didn't even take 4 hours before he stopped in front of their first danger area in Sunset Cloud Mountain Range. Looking at the misty mountain forest ahead, Lu Mu Yen revealed some interest on her face. This mist could even block out mental energy. Interesting. Didn't they say that there are 3 danger areas in Sunset Cloud Mountain Range? Where are the other 2? After scanning the misty forest, Lu Mu Yen asked Yi Qing Han and the others. Ling Fei Yang sat in his wheelchair pushed by Yun Lan, his eyes deep. The 3 danger areas in Sunset Cloud Mountain are all connected together, and after entering this misty forest, each group of people may all appear in different places. All different? Lu Mu Yen asked curiously, turning around. This misty forest is the only way to the 3 danger areas, and the 3 danger areas could all move, so it depends on time and luck to see which one you'll fall on. Ling Fei Yang said indifferently. You mean to say that the 3 danger areas are constantly shifting and changing positions? Lu Mu Yen raised an eyebrow. That's also to say we might set foot on the area with Tier 9 demonic beasts. Yes, it's indeed possible. Ling Fei Yang nodded. Lu Mu Yen raised her head and looked at the misty forest not far away. She couldn't even penetrate it with her mental energy. The Sunset Cloud Mountain Range was indeed very mysterious. If you're unlucky to set foot on the place where the Tier 9 demonic beast is located, wouldn't it mean you'll definitely die? She just felt that it wasn't that simple, otherwise, who'd dare to enter this misty forest easily, and he'd be able to guarantee that their luck would be so good that they'd definitely not encounter a Tier 9 demonic beast. Bing Ji, who had already turned into a 7-colored parrot, stood on her shoulder and sneered, "Is a Tier 9 demonic beast so easy to meet? There being a Tier 9 demonic beast here is just a legend. Even if it exists, he wouldn't bother appearing and killing you low-level humans. High-level demonic beasts have their own pride, let alone a Tier 9 demonic beast that's at an even higher level than him." Of course, he was also very curious about what kind of demonic beast race the legendary Tier 9 demonic beast was, so it wasn't bad if they accidentally met. Come true. Chapter 155, Being Spied On. Do you all think Tier 9 demonic beasts are that easy to encounter? Bing Jis sneer echoed in the ears of the several people. Can't you use your demonic sense to feel whether there's a demonic beast stronger than you in there? Lu Mu Yen telepathically asked Bing Ji. Bing Ji pursed his lips. Half of my demonic energy was sealed by that kid, so my demonic sense naturally couldn't penetrate it either. Lu Mu Yen chuckled at his tone. Even if he didn't seal your demonic energy, your demonic sense can't penetrate that layer of fog, right? Bing Ji froze. Cough. That layer of fog is a natural barrier, so even if the Tier 9 demonic beast is here, it'd be unable to spy. Lu Mu Yen no longer communicated telepathically to him, and asked the several people with a smile on her lips, "Do you all still want to go in? What's Mu Yan's plan?" Yi Qing Han asked with some interest on his face. "Naturally, to go in and take a look. There's no reason to shrink back after coming," Lu Mu Yen said. Shi Feng and Mu Yi also had never entered the 3 dangerous areas, so at this time, they were filled with interest. Lu Mu Yen, a little girl, wasn't even afraid, they were even less so. Although Ling Fei Yang sat in a wheelchair, but his cultivation base still remained at Sword King. He smiled softly and said, "Let's go in and take a look." Yunlan naturally wouldn't object, so he pushed Ling Fei Yang into the foggy forest with the few people. There wasn't anything like poisonous gas when entering the foggy forest, and instead, the spiritual force inside was much denser than outside, while it was still a foggy scenery up ahead, unable to see what's in front. Everyone be careful. Yi Qing Han found out that after entering the foggy forest, his mental energy still couldn't detect his surroundings, so he cautiously said to the few people. Lu Mu Yen thought for a bit, then released Mo Yen. "Do you know this kind of foggy forest?" Mo Yan's indifferent eyes swept the surroundings, then telepathically said, "This is a natural spiritual force barrier that can isolate all probing of mental energy and demonic sense. But the demonic beasts deep in the forest can still discover all your presences. Is there really a Tier 9 demonic beast here?" Lu Mu Yen thought that since there were such rumors, it shouldn't be too distorted. Mo Yen said, "Naturally there is. He's paying attention to all your movements at this moment." "What?" Lu Mu Yen was stunned, then asked, "How did you know that when you can't use your demonic sense to probe the fog? Although the demonic sense can't penetrate into the foggy forest, I can still feel a very faint demonic sense currently cast towards us. All your movements can't escape his eyes." Mo Yan's tone carried a rare trace of gravity. Lu Mu Yen furrowed her brows and said, "Then aren't we just voluntarily sending ourselves to his door for him to slaughter? Is it really the aura of a Tier 9 demonic beast? I'm certain it's definitely a Tier 9 demonic beast spying. As for slaughtering you guys, I don't think that's likely. There's no killing intent in his aura." Mo Yen paused, then said, "You're just catching a few Tier 5 demonic beasts, you won't anger him. As long as you don't step into the range of his core territory, then it's fine. Is this the pride of you, demonic beasts?" Lu Mu Yen asked, remembering Bing Jis' words. Mo Yen glanced lightly at the ostentatious 7-colored parrot on Lu Mu Yan's shoulder, then said, "It's not necessarily that every demonic beast is unbending and proud, but for most high-level demonic beasts, they follow such a principle and aren't as calculating as humans. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks, Mo Kid. Why did you look at this little master one when you said the first part? Bing Jis' voice sounded in Lu Mu Yan's Sea of Consciousness. Lu Mu Yan's ancient contract skill was different from the beast-taming skill of this continent. All demonic beasts could communicate on their own in the Sea of Consciousness, so Mo Yan's words were naturally heard by Bing Ji. Mo Yan looked at him coldly. I mean precisely you, what will you do? This bird talked in Lu Mu Yan's Sea of Consciousness all day. It was just too noisy. Humph, this little master won't lower myself to the same level as you, a Tier 5 demonic beast. Bing Ji found that Mo Yan's gaze was too horrifying and also knew that the other party's bloodline talent was much purer than him as a descendant of a Saiyan One, so every time they fought, there was always a pressure. Offending this Mo kid definitely was more awful than offending owner. Even if Mo Yan's Tier 5 now, you probably still won't be able to beat him with you currently suppressed at Tier 6. Lu Mu Yan raised an eyebrow and said with a smile, speaking more favorably about Mo Yan. After all, Mo Yan was a high-level demon cultivator that had recultivated. He had broken through from Tier 1 all the way to Tier 5 in such a short time, and his cultivation speed was much faster than hers. Bing Ji, this dabbler divine beast, simply couldn't be compared to him. Moreover, in terms of experience and exposure, Bing Ji couldn't catch up to Mo Yan, not even by a dozen streets. Owner, you're too biased. Bing Ji likes you so much, how could you like that cold fellow more? Bing Ji had long felt that Mo Yan wasn't simple, that's why he naturally wouldn't be so stupid as to provoke him again and again, so he rubbed Lu Mu Yan's shoulder with his head and changed the subject. Lu Mu Yan held her forehead. Was this guy really a Tier 8 demonic beast? Why did he have no principles or ethics? But with the addition of Bing Ji, their lives had become a lot livelier. Although sometimes he was a bit noisy, but it could also make people unconsciously relax. At the same time, sitting in a towering palace was a cyan-clothed man with a grave and stern appearance, wearing a crown. There was an image condensed from demonic sense in front of him, and within the image were the movements of Lu Mu Yan and her group. Monarch, do they need to be cleaned up? A dark-skinned man stood respectfully beneath the man's throne and asked after looking at the scene in the image. The cyan-clothed man laid his chin on his fist languidly and said in a cold and indifferent voice, as long as they don't step into the Thunder Domain, you don't need to care. They were just a few Sword King stage sword masters and weren't worth him acting. Not to mention he had long made an agreement with human powerhouses. As long as human sword masters didn't step into the Thunder Domain, then it wasn't considered an encroachment. Yes. He waved his hand casually and the image in midair disappeared instantly. Then he got up and went back to his sleeping quarters. His demonic sense has been withdrawn. Mo Yan stared into the air and suddenly said. Lu Mu Yan nodded. When she first entered this foggy forest, although she couldn't feel the demonic sense Mo Yan spoke of, but she had felt a kind of palpitation of fear in her heart. Now that bad feeling had also disappeared. Her mental energy, ever since the last time in the glacial mountain range where it was condensed into a net and completely depleted, had fallen into a state of dormancy. This was a state where it was accumulating to explode and advance. Now, she could only use a small part of it, so she couldn't detect the opponent's demonic sense. The few people fumbled and walked slowly for a while, then Lu Mu Yan's eyes sharpened. She raised her hand and flicked a few fire blades towards the front left of her. Be careful. As soon as her voice fell, everyone heard the densely packed sounds of shoo shoo, and countless icicles sprayed out from the thick fog in front of them, directly attacking them. When approaching, 1/3 of the icicles were melted by Lu Mu Yan's fire blades while the remaining 2/3 were slightly blocked before continuing to fly towards the few other people. But with Lu Mu Yan's reminder and the buffer of the fire blades, the others had long reacted, waving their swords, and numerous sword auras that exuded different colored lights slashed towards the icicles. Translated product by May Our Come True 1, Xiaoye. I just translated it to Little Master. But this master has the meaning of the master from young master and not the master as in master-disciple. Once again an arrogant way of self-address that one can use. But I guess Bing Ji isn't too confident in front of Mo Yen this time because he didn't use Big Master, yeah, like he did with Washao ha. For continuing readers, instead of this uncle that I translated to initially when Bing Ji spoke with Washao, I changed it to Big Master cause it made more sense. Yeah, it's why I'm so bothered by these small details tbhxd. Chapter 156, Scorching Flame Technique. The sword auras that the few shot out collided with the icicles, and the countless icicles weren't as strong as the sword auras, so they shattered into several pieces, falling to the ground. Yi Qing Han's eyes grew cold and moved 2 fingers. The long sword in his hand suddenly grew bigger and he swung straight towards the front left. A sword aura with a strong wave of elemental energy emerged from the sword and swept out. Squeak squeak. Several icicles larger than before greeted Yi Qing Han's sword aura accompanied by a few rat squeaks. The two converged in midair in the dense fog and the strong purple sword aura swept in an arc, then instantly separated into countless wisps of sword auras. It not only cut down the icicles, but a few wisps also headed towards the front left where the icicles erupted from. Squeak squeak. A few screams of rats sounded in the thick fog again. The few people exchanged looks, then walked in the direction of the shrieking, each of them activating a layer of elemental energy shields. When they approached that location, the few people saw 3 blue rats around the size of a rabbit watch them vigilantly, ready to attack at any time. One of them was injured by Yi Qing Han's sword aura and was lying on the ground rolling and shrieking. Shoo shoo. As soon as the few people approached, the 2 uninjured ice fog rats spat out rows upon rows of icicles, attacking them, filled with killing intent. Lu Mu Yen sneered, snapped her fingers, and pointed her finger towards the sky as she whispered, "Fireball technique." Following her voice, a wave of heat spread out in the sky above and in a short while, fist-sized fireballs fell continuously from the sky. As soon as the icicles that were shot out touched the fireball, they continuously let off white steam, gradually melting into water droplets. The fireball shot indiscriminately and fell uninterrupted, instantly dissolving all the icicles into droplets of water. But the fireballs didn't stop, and they fell in the direction where the 3 ice fog rats were half squatting. The 2 uninjured ice fog rats instantly ran away, but fireballs would also touch their fur and skin, so their shrieks kept sounding. While that ice fog rat that was already injured and unable to run was even more miserable. The fireballs fell on its body one by one and not long after, the shrieks gradually faded. The body of the ice fog rat was also burned to ashes by the fireball. Seeing the 2 ice fog rats fleeing while shrieking in one direction, Lu Mu Yan's eyes grew cold and pinched a seal in her hands. Since the 2 ice fog rats wanted to attack and kill them secretly, then they should be prepared to be counter-killed. She wouldn't let them have the opportunity to seek help from the Rat King. Just when the 2 ice fog rats thought they were lucky to have escaped the fireballs and wanted to go find reinforcements, a huge fire wave suddenly surged from ahead of them. Before they could react, they were swallowed by it and also burned to ashes. Mu Yen, has your fire elemental energy reached the state where it could do as your heart pleased? Mu Yi stared at the fireball and fire wave that had disappeared in surprise, and the emotions in his heart didn't tumble any less actively than the fire wave. Comprehending elemental energy law until the state where one could control it as they pleased usually required one to have reached the hurdle of entering a sword sovereign stage from peak phase sword monarch. Only then could one be able to have that revelation. But how did Lu Mu Yen, who was only at Sword King strength, able to do it? While he was shocked, he was also very puzzled. As a master at playing with fire, Shifeng's face couldn't help but change when he saw Lu Muyen control the fire elemental energy as her heart pleased and was also wondering how she did it. Even Yi Qinghan and the other two looked at her in confusion. Lu Muyen brushed her sleeves and smiled faintly, saying, "It's just a technique." The fireball technique was a basic technique that cultivators during the meditation stage could practically all do, but it was laborious and time-consuming to practice it to perfection. It just so happened that when she was at the meditation stage, because her cultivation base was soaring too fast, causing it to be unstable, she used these techniques to practice one by one until perfection, and the rewards were very high. Not only did it stabilize her cultivation base, but it also had miraculous effects against opponents. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks not only the scorching flame technique, even water condensing technique, weathering technique and the other techniques had all been practiced by her until the perfection state. The fireball technique she used just now was a type of scorching flame technique. It was originally controlled by spiritual energy, but this continent had a stronger comprehension of the elements, so the effect of using fire elemental energy condensation was better than using spiritual energy. She had indeed reached the state where it did as her heart pleased, but it completely relied on her previous lives' experience and painstaking practice. It wasn't something one could do with just talent. Technique? It's the first time I've seen such a technique. Shifeng rubbed his chin and asked, "Mu Yen, is it convenient for you to tell me the name of your technique?" Scorching flame technique. Lu Muyen didn't conceal it either. Hearing this name, the few people fell into deep thought, but it bore no fruits. They had indeed not heard of this type of technique. These kinds of techniques are actually just some ways to get started with the elements. It wasn't easy to cultivate to perfection, but if you want, I can make a copy of the scorching flame technique on a jade slip for you to study. Lu Muyen said very openly and generously with a smile. This kind of technique was found anywhere in the clans and sects of the immortal cultivation world and wasn't much of a secret at all. If one wanted to cultivate it to perfection, aside from the talent of comprehending the laws, the most important thing was to be able to calm one's heart and ceaselessly train. Since Mu Yi and the others were all interested, it didn't matter if she gifted it to them. Whether they could cultivate it to perfection or not was dependent on their own level of hard work. Isn't that not good? Records of techniques are exceptionally precious. Yi Qinghan shook his head slightly. Although methods weren't as rare as pill formulas and smithing secret books, but was also extremely precious, especially records of techniques, they were even rarely found in the public. For example, if a jade slip of the technique Lu Muyen just used was auctioned off at an auction, then the price would definitely be exceptionally high. Mu Yi and Shifeng were extremely excited and there was some burning desire in their eyes. They were in professions that dealt with fire in the long term, so they were naturally very excited about this kind of technique. However, after listening to Yi Qinghan's words, they also thought that Lu Muyen did things freely and generously, but they couldn't take advantage of it. Technique records are hard to come by. I'm indeed really interested in this scorching flame technique, but I can't get it for nothing. With a thought, an extra cyan bead appeared in Mu Yi's hand. This is a water-repelling bead which can activate a layer of light shield for protection and could be used as a defensive magic tool. When used underwater, you can avoid the water current and walk around freely. When worn on you, it also has the effect of warming in winter and cooling in summer. How about I exchange this with you? After listening to him, Lu Muyen became rather interested in this water-repelling bead and jokingly said, "This bead already isn't a common product at first glance. Are you sure you're willing to exchange a middle-level magic treasure for a technique? What's there to be unwilling? Your scorching flame technique is more suitable for my identity as a smith." Mu Yi's persistent love for smithing was no less than Shifeng's love for alchemy. Not to mention he was also a fire lover. Sure, deal. Lu Muyen took out a few empty jade slips and copied the scorching flame technique using mental energy onto it, then threw it to them one by one. Feng also gave Lu Mu Yen an offensive magic treasure on him in exchange. While Yi Qing Han, Ling Fei Yang and Yun Lan's exchange items were rejected by her. Their relationship would appear too distant if even gifting a technique required them to trade something. Mu Yi and Feng didn't care about her actions either. Everyone knew the principle that there were differences between close ones and distant ones. They didn't want her to suffer any losses to begin with, and they were even more willing to trade things in exchange for techniques. It was better than owing personal favors. The few took a rest for a bit, then continued to move onwards. After walking for more than 2 hours, the mist in the forest faded a little bit. When they got a foothold, the surrounding scenery suddenly changed. Come true. Chapter 157, Human-Eating Blood Thorn Vine. As soon as one stepped out of the foggy forest, the surrounding scenery suddenly changed. What entered the eye was a deep and quiet narrow path with no end in sight. The two sides of the path were covered with golden thorn bushes and the surroundings were very quiet, though there were still birds flying by in the sky. I wonder which one of the 3 danger areas this is. Mui pressed his lips together tightly as he observed the surroundings. I just feel a sense of oppressiveness. Yi Qing Han stepped forward, then with a thought, he released a big-eared rabbit from his spirit beast ring and threw it onto the narrow path. The few people looked ahead fixedly, only to see the rabbit jumping into the golden thorn bush happily, and its life force didn't disappear. Let's go too, Yi Qing Han said. Lu Mu Yen narrowed her eyes and telepathically said to Mo Yen, "Can you tell if there's anything? I just feel that it's weird here, but even after that rabbit went in, nothing happened, so it should be temporarily safe." "Of course, you shouldn't let your guard down," Mo Yen replied. I also think there's definitely a problem here." "Oh well, confront soldiers with generals and stem water with earth one." Seeing Yi Qing Han and the others step onto the narrow path, Lu Mu Yen cautioned, "You should all activate an elemental energy shield and prepare defensive magic tools. It's better to be careful." Upon listening to her, the others didn't consider it much either and they all directly activated an elemental energy shield. They also didn't advance quickly. The narrow path was very deep and quiet, and after walking about a quarter of an hour, there still wasn't any sight of the end. The further they walked inside, more layers upon layers of tall and strong trees with luxuriant leaves enveloped the branches. The sunlight passed through the leaves but was mostly blocked, and the light grew dimmer and dimmer. Lu Mu Yan's mental energy was still dormant, and she couldn't explore the situation ahead. So she told the 3 spirit pets in her sea of consciousness, "You 3, pay attention to whether there are any abnormalities around us. Little owner, something's not right here. I keep feeling a very faint aura of demonic beasts secretly overflowing. It should be deliberately hidden." Bing Jis' small eyes rolled around and around as he said cautiously. Mo Yen naturally also found the aura, the being who's here isn't kind. If it isn't that it's proficient in concealment methods, then this piece of golden thorn forest is in its area of control. Meow Meow got out of Lu Mu Yan's sleeve and flicked its tongue irritably ahead, hiss hiss. Because it was still in its infancy, it wasn't able to communicate through the demonic consciousness, so it could only vaguely convey a kind of emotion for Lu Mu Yen to feel. Lu Mu Yen stretched out her hand and gently stroked its forehead to soothe it, then said to the few people who were walking together, "Be prepared to fight." "Fight? There's abnormalities." Mu Yi stopped and looked at her in confusion. He had been releasing his mental energy in caution, and he hadn't found any demonic beasts or life forces around. But before Lu Mu Yen could answer, the golden thorn bushes around the path appeared as if they had come alive and suddenly scurried about, turning into slender vines one by one and crept towards the feet of the several people. "There are human-eating blood thorn vines hidden in the golden thorn bushes, everyone be careful." Yi Qing Han was a spirit beast master after all, and at this time, also discovered the abnormality. Seeing thorny golden yellow vines sneak out from the cover of the golden thorn bushes, he exclaimed. Hearing what he said, the others took out their long swords and slashed towards the golden vines that were about to wind around their feet. But after only cutting off a few sections of blood thorn vines, more of them slithered out from the golden thorn bushes, wanting to wrap around their feet even faster. Hurry and use fire elemental energy attacks. Yi Qing Han reminded the several people while waving his long sword. The human-eating blood thorn vine was a plant that absorbed human blood and life force. If it cultivated into a spirit, then it could also become a demon cultivator. In addition to demonic beasts, there were also demonic plants in this world. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks. Human-eating blood thorn vines couldn't be killed. As long as its roots weren't dead, it could birth countless twigs and vines to siege and kill living organisms. Even a sword master's fire attribute elemental energy couldn't kill it. Shi Feng and Mu Yi were both masters in playing with fire, and their fire elemental energy could also be condensed. The two quickly formed a seal in front of their chests. Suddenly, a giant axe condensed from elemental energy appeared in Shi Feng's hand, and he slashed down axe after axe towards the surrounding golden vines. A fire snake slithered out from Mu Yi's hand, opened its mouth, and bit towards the golden vines that came up to besiege him. Ling Fei Yang was sitting in the wheelchair with deep, dark eyes, then formed a seal, and more than a dozen firebirds emerged from his hand, instantly spreading their wings, rushing towards the golden vines that were about to wrap around his feet. Neither Yi Qing Han nor Yunlan had the fire attribute elemental energy, so the two could only use their element sword auras to slay the vines without knowing what weariness was, making it so that the vines couldn't get close. Lu Mu Yen flipped over her slender jade-like hands and fire lotuses floated from her hand. As soon as it touched the golden vines on the ground, they would scatter automatically. The petals of the fire lotuses enveloped the vines, and the golden vines instantly turned to ashes. She watched Shi Feng and the others' elemental energy condensation and also couldn't resist admiring that the talents of these three people were indeed excelling. With this kind of fire elemental energy condensation and the further study of the scorching fire technique she gave them, once the two effects overlapped, they would surely become an unexpected, invincible killer trump card. Seeing Yunlan and Yi Qing Han strenuously resisting waves of inexhaustible golden vines, the several people also divided their condensed fire elemental energy to help them. Soon, the blood thorn vines that snuck out from the golden thorn bushes gradually diminished and there were piles of ashes in front of them. Squeak! Right when Lu Mu Yen and the others gained the upper hand, a harsh shriek suddenly sounded from within the forest. It's the human-eating blood thorn vine king. Mo Yan's voice entered Lu Mu Yan's ears telepathically. Lu Mu Yen was startled for the moment. She didn't expect that this place could birth such a blood vine king. A human-eating blood thorn vine king was so rare it was difficult to meet even in tens of thousands of years. As long as the human-eating blood thorn vine king wasn't eliminated, the golden vines would also never be destroyed. After killing a batch, it could immediately reproduce a new bunch of twigs. It was exceptionally difficult to deal with, and if any average human sword masters or demonic beasts met it, they would undoubtedly die. Then her eyes lit up. The principle of interdependence of fortune and misfortune was the same no matter what situation it was used in. Although this human-eating blood thorn vine was difficult to deal with, but it could grow a type of blood thorn sac within it. The blood thorn sac could not only be used to refine pills, but it could also be used to brew spiritual wine. The spiritual wine brewed couldn't only improve one's cultivation base, but it could also improve the physique, increasing the toughness of the body. If she continued to drink it long-term, then her body refining manual definitely would benefit from it a lot. Moreover, the entire body of the blood thorn vine was a treasure. Aside from the blood thorn sac that could be used, the vine from the taproot could also be used to refine magic tools as it was extremely tough, and was a main material that numerous smiths dreamt of. Both the bloodthorn's sac and the bloodthorn's main vine was in short supply outside. As long as they appeared on the market, then they'd inevitably cause a frenzied scramble for it, and it could also be sold at high prices at auctions. Lu Muyan's eyes were filled with smiles. Mo Yen. This time we're going to make a fortune. Mo Yen looked at the sky speechlessly. Did this woman become a money grubber? Even Bing Ji couldn't resist twitching his mouth. Wasn't little owner's focus a little wrong? Only Meow Meow kept rubbing against Lu Muyan to show her support. In its heart, owner was always right. Whether you make a fortune or not, I don't know right now, but you're definitely in danger. Mo Yen looked up and solemnly watched the twinkling golden lights ahead of them rolling towards them like waves in the sea. When the golden lights approached, one could tell that they were actually numerous blood-thorn vines with spikes protruding from them. Chapter 158, Danger strikes. As Mo Yan's voice fell, Lu Muyan raised her head and saw rolls upon rolls of golden vines rushing towards them like tides and mighty waves. What? How come there's so many popping out again? Mu Yi stared at the sight in front of him, stunned. Yi Qing Han's expression was also exceptionally ugly. These human-eating blood-thorn vines are being controlled. What's controlling it? Shi Feng asked in befuddlement as he waved the huge axe made from fire elemental energy condensation. He and Mu Yi, one was an alchemist, one was a smith, and they didn't go out a lot throughout the year, so they didn't know much about demonic plants. The shriek just now was the voice of the human-eating blood-thorn vine king. These golden vines should be its branches. Yi Qing Han explained. Then how can we break through? Mu Yi returned to his senses and immediately poured out a pill that replenished elemental energy, then used his fire snake against the golden vines that were rapidly extending in front of him. Yi Qing Han's eyes were solemn, and his tone was helpless. We must find the place where the human-eating blood-thorn vine king is and kill it to get out of the trap. Otherwise these blood-thorn vines will be like weeds, unable to be burnt completely. At this time, the few people formed a small circle, constantly fighting against the golden vines that were as if they were bearing fangs and brandishing claws. Be careful not to get pierced by the thorns on the vines, otherwise your body will be paralyzed for a period of time. Although it's only a few breaths, but after losing your combat ability, you'll become their food. What Yi Qing Han comprehended wasn't the fire attribute elemental energy, so he could only caution everyone while wielding his long sword without giving up, keeping the mentality that however many he could cut was how many that counted. Mobilizing the fire element condensation to battle took a lot of elemental energy and physical strength. Shi Feng and the others continued to take pills as sweat covered their foreheads, and they began to struggle. Lu Muyan's face slightly sunk. Her two hands kept pinching seals, and not long after, a fiery red light cover appeared, enveloping the few people and enclosing them within. A wave of heat hit the surrounding space and fires fell from the sky, all smashing against the golden vines and tendrils that were attempting to attack the flame shield. Squeak! Several shrill shrieks came from within the depths of the vines covered in flames. The golden vines that hadn't been burnt to ashes retreated one after another, hovering not far away, swaying the vines to express indignation. On the narrow path, Lu Muyan and the others formed a stalemate with the golden-colored vines. The few people were trapped in a small circle by the vines from all directions, and even if they wanted to escape, they couldn't rush out. Lu Muyan took out a few bottles of spiritual energy replenishing pills and threw them to the others. Quickly replenish your elemental energy. Their new wave of attack is coming soon. After she finished speaking, she picked up a porcelain bottle and poured pills ceaselessly into her mouth. The spiritual energy replenishing pills melted the moment they entered her mouth, and the spiritual energy flowed through the meridians in her entire body to replenish her dantian. But this wasn't a good way to continue. Even if she had a lot of spiritual energy replenishing pills, but it wouldn't be able to stand such usage. These golden-colored vines were simply an endless cycle of dying then returning. Furthermore, their elemental energy could be replenished with pills, but it was difficult for their physical body to keep up. Suddenly, a few sturdy human-eating blood-thorn vines drilled out from beneath Yi Qinghan and Yunlan's foot, swiftly entangled their feet, then dragged them down. "Be careful underground." Mo Yen and Bing J's voice echoed in Lu Muyan's sea of consciousness at the same time. Lu Muyan's eyes grew cold. Her mental energy was dormant, so she couldn't detect the fluctuations underground at all. Not to mention the human-eating blood-thorn vine was exceptionally skilled in concealing its aura. Even when Mo Yen and Bing Ji noticed and reminded everyone, they were also a step too late. Yi Qinghan and Yunlan were already dragged into the ground by the vines that had suddenly emerged and wrapped around their foot. Qinghan, Yunlan. Shocked, Mui quickly mobilized the fire snake to burn the thick vines. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks, but a scene that made them all slightly despair occurred. The condensed fire elemental energy burning on the few vines that emitted a dark golden light were completely useless. They could only helplessly watch the two being dragged away and disappear. Lu Muyen furrowed her brows. It seemed that these thick dark golden vines were the main force. She mobilized the spiritual energy of her entire body, pinched seals, and let out a soft yell, "Rise!" A giant lifelike fire dragon rose from behind her and roared into the air, then dived into the ground where Yi Qinghan and Yunlan just disappeared from. Will they be alright? Mu Yi used his mental energy to probe underground but found nothing. Ling Fei Yang knitted his brows tightly. There's no life-threatening concerns for now, but that human-eating blood-thorn vine demonic plant already bore intelligence, so it must be difficult to deal with. That demonic plant could see that what Yi Qinghan and Yunlan comprehended wasn't the fire attribute elemental energy law, so they weren't a big threat to it. But they were the easiest to catch, so it snuck from underground to attack, and as expected, it succeeded. Lu Muyen took out 2 more bottles of pills and kept pouring them into her mouth. Then her eyes sharpened, and she enhanced the light cover with fire elemental energy again. The golden-colored vines that were waving about and slapping as if they were bearing fangs and brandishing claws were completely blocked outside the light enclosure. But the golden-colored vines weren't giving up as they continued to slap, tentatively attempting to pierce the flame cover. The 3 of them saw Lu Muyan's complexion start to turn pale and a layer of dense sweat rose on her nose. They also knew that she couldn't maintain the flame cover for long, so after quickly consuming the spiritual energy replenishing pills, they mobilized their fire elemental energy to help support the light cover together. A faint despair was also born unconsciously in their hearts. Would they perish here today? However, all of them were determined and tenacious. They quickly tossed that kind of despair behind them. No one could tell the result until the very last moment. In order to survive, they couldn't lose their confidence. Lu Muyen saw that the 3 people's condensed fire elemental energy was just enough to maintain the functioning of the fire light cover. She looked deeply in the direction where the 2 had been dragged away and said, "You all hold on for a moment. I'll come back as soon as possible." After speaking, she didn't wait for anyone to answer either. She used her spiritual energy to mobilize 2 flying swords, placing them in front of her and drilled into the ground where the 2 people were dragged away. The flying swords kept spinning, stirring up the surrounding soil as she chased in the direction of the fire Aragon's aura. She had seen the introduction of the blood-thorn vine on the Tianling continent's demonic beast and demonic plants record. She found that this type of blood-thorn vine's habits were almost the same as the blood-thorn vines in the immortal cultivation world, so she could use the same method to deal with it. She once obtained a recipe for brewing blood-sack wine in the inheritance of the heavenly grade alchemist, so she had searched for the human-eating blood-thorn vine in the spiritual world for ages. Ultimately, hard work didn't let down those who tried, and she found a king, then used a means to suppress it and made it surrender. At this time, although her cultivation base wasn't as high as the human-eating blood-thorn vine, but she had some confidence in dealing with it. After all, her blood sac wine was still waiting for the blood-thorn sac of this human-eating blood-thorn vine king to be put in the pot. No matter how difficult it was, even if she had to use her all and her trump cards, she would definitely defeat it. Of course, not wanting Yi Qinghan and the others to die here was an important reason and determination for why she didn't want to, and couldn't, give up. Squeak! The harsh, high-pitched screams echoed continuously. Lu Muyan's heart tightened, then she sped up, going deeper underground. Not good. Yi Qinghan and Yunlan were entangled and were about to approach the main body of the human-eating blood-thorn vine king. Danger. Translated product by May R. Come True. Chapter 159. Arrange Array's Antrap. When Lu Muyan heard that excited call, her heart tightened. She mobilized her spiritual energy to gather into her long swords, quickly chasing the fire dragon. After going a further few hundred meters deeper underground, the fire dragon shifted its direction and Lu Muyan followed closely behind. After a while, the fire dragon chased upwards with a swish. It seems like the human-eating blood-thorn vine king is right up there, Bing Ji said while looking at the place not far away. Lu Muyan had a deep chill in her eyes. If this demon vine dared to touch Yi Qinghan and Yunlan, then she wouldn't want its blood-thorn sac anymore. Only by burning it could she relieve her hatred. However, she didn't chase in the direction of the fire dragon again, but instead ceaselessly formed newer territory ahead. Little owner, are you not going to chase in the direction of the fire dragon? The human-eating blood-thorn vine king is right on top, Bing Ji asked in confusion. Lu Muyan mobilized the double swords forward while saying, I naturally have my own way to deal with it. Bing Ji rolled his eyes. The target was just above, how could she deal with it if she came here instead and didn't follow it upwards? Mo Yan's eyes were still indifferent, but it hid an understanding. You want to try destroying its roots. As expected, Mo Yan is smart, Lu Muyan said. Bing Ji glared at Mo Yan. This kid would just always come out to please people at the critical moments. Mo Yan replied with a cold look, and Bing Ji instantly felt that the feathers on his body were about to stand up on its ends. This damned spirit devourer had raised suppression against him. Finally, he cursed Mo Yan in his heart repeatedly, and only then did he feel more comfortable. As Lu Muyan was moving forward, a sliver of spiritual sense was also attached to the fire dragon. After knowing that the dark golden vines entangled the two of them and dragged them to the place above but didn't do anything for the time being, she gently sighed with relief. While mobilizing the fire dragon to hover over the two people's heads, readying it to fight with the human-eating blood-thorn vine king, she also stopped in a place. What entered her eye was the thick root system wrapped in dark golden-colored bark. Each root system also had countless red threads, just like blood vessels. The root system had been extended to a very deep underground place, and spiritual force was being absorbed by its root system incessantly. Lu Muyan's eyes sharpened. Without any hesitation, she flipped her right hand and a cluster of purple golden-colored flames jumped out of her palm, prepared to act. Who knew that this demon tree is only at initial phase tier 6 cultivation base? Bing Ji scanned the aura of the demonic plant opposite him, pursed his lips and said casually. Lu Muyan rolled her eyes at him. Demonic plants have it much harder in cultivating than demonic beasts. Initial phase tier 6 strength isn't at all weaker than a late phase tier 6 demonic beast. Not to mention that it's a king. In order for a plant to become a spurt and gain intelligence was hundreds or even thousands of times more difficult than demonic beasts. That's why demonic plants were exceptionally rare. Each high-level demonic plant birth could basically sweep out demonic beasts at the same tier. A demonic beast could transform into human form at Tier 7 while demonic plants needed to be at Tier 8. At Tier 6 it could only communicate using demonic sense, and only at Tier 7 could it speak the human language. Each step was a tier slower, but its strength was even stronger. It was useless to deal with such a demonic plant using ordinary fire elemental energy. Of course, if it were a human sword master 2 stages higher than a demonic plant and who could use fire elemental energy, then they could definitely cause damage towards it. Her cultivation level wasn't enough, so the only thing that could restrain it was mutant flames. If she hadn't subdued the purple golden spirit flame, then she wouldn't dare rush in so easily and take abuse herself. After all, although she had the ability to challenge higher stages, but the demonic plant also had that ability, and it was countless times more difficult to deal with than her. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks. She noticed that a powerful aura appeared above, directly waving its vines and sent the bound Yi Qing Han and Yunlan towards it. The fire dragon kept burning the dark golden-colored vines, but it was of little use. Go! So she said without hesitation, and the purple gold spirit flame was as if it had come alive, turning into a blooming purple peony, and floated out. As soon as the peony touched the main root system of the human-eating blood thorn vine king, the other party shrank swiftly as if it had seen a ghost, but it was too large and could barely move a few steps. Crackle! Several sounds of burning vines resounded and a faint burnt smell spread in the underground soil. Squeak squeak! A loud and shrill cry sounded. The sturdy tree roots that intertwined deep in the ground actually broke away from the soil and flicked in Lu Mu Yan's direction as if it had come alive, one by one. There was also a very indignant demonic sense telepathic voice that was heard, "Human, today I must tear you into thousands of pieces." It had been 1,000 years, he had never suffered such humiliation and pain. The power of the flame just now made him feel strong danger. He must kill this danger. Meanwhile, also kill the human that dared to set him on fire, tearing them into countless pieces of flesh and blood to serve as the nourishment for his roots. Just with you, an ugly demonic plant. Lu Mu Yan huffed coldly, flipped her hands, and numerous purple peonies instantly floated down. When they met the tree roots that were flicking towards her, they fell piece by piece from the stamens and melted into the dark golden-colored tree roots. Screech screech! A few more shrieks sounded. All the tree roots that were merged with the purple golden petals made it crackle sound, accompanied by a burning smell. Damned human, if you have the guts then come up and fight me head-on. The human-eating blood thorn vine king was extremely angry but could do nothing. That purple-colored spirit flame was the nemesis of all them demonic plants, and they'll become trash the moment they touch it. Just now, when his huge root system touched the flame, it had become completely unable to regenerate. His heart was bleeding, those were the root systems on which he depended for survival. Pfft! Lu Mu Yan sneered, and the movements of her hands didn't stop as she specifically attacked the relatively weaker roots using the purple gold spirit flame. Do you think I'm a fool? You deserve to die. The human-eating blood thorn vine king was truly infuriated this time. He retrieved the root that he was about to attack Lu Mu Yan with. The roots of the tree suddenly began to change, becoming shorter and thinner. He was the blood thorn vine king, so he naturally occupied the place with the most abundant spiritual force and could also move at will. Now that he was restrained by the purple flames, he could only shorten and shrink his rhizomes so that the human couldn't easily burn them. Lu Mu Yan sneered and condensed several Taoist seals in mid-air, shooting them one by one to the place that the tree roots of the human-eating blood thorn vine king had occupied before. Seal! After forming the last Taoist seal with her hands, she slapped it down hard. More than a dozen jade-colored runes emerged from all directions, intertwining together to form a dense net from all sides, trapping the human-eating blood thorn vine king that had shrunk countless times within. When she first saw such huge rhizomes earlier, she just knew that it'd be too laborious to deal with the human-eating blood-thorn vine king by just relying on the purple gold spirit flame. It was easy to escape by just shrinking the entire tree root like he did. So from the moment she entered here, she hid her hands in her sleeves, pinching seals and arranging talisman arrays. As long as the human-eating blood-thorn vine king was trapped and couldn't move to escape or attack her in wide ranges, she could make him obedient. As her voice fell, the dense net of jade-colored rays of light flourished in all directions and turned into a high wall of dozens of meters, circling with runes, compressing towards the human-eating blood-thorn vine king. Come true. Chapter 160. Are you reconciled or unreconciled? The high wall built by the jade-colored runes, intertwined with the purple gold spirit flame, swiftly surrounded the human-eating blood-thorn vine king and locked his demonic energy to prevent him from escaping. Squeak! The human-eating blood-thorn vine king above found that the demonic energy of his tree root was bound by the hateful spirit flame. He couldn't shrink it anymore. In a rage, he whipped his dark golden mane vine ceaselessly. With just a few whips, the land above was all split into deep ravines, but he couldn't vent the anger in his chest. The corner of Lu Mu Yan's lips raised slightly into an arc. When the blood-thorn vine king whipped the ground angrily, she reacted extremely quickly and controlled the fire dragon built by elemental energy to roll up Yi Qing Han and Yun Lan, who had been tossed on the ground, and run. When the human-eating blood-thorn vine king finally reacted, the fire dragon was already soaring straight into the sky, rushing far away as if riding on clouds and flying on mist. His anger rose and he roared, stretching out his main branch quickly towards the sky, attempting to recapture the two of them. These were his food and nourishment. No humans or demonic beasts had entered his territory for so long. He hadn't tasted fresh blood for decades, so he sure didn't want to let go of his prey like this. But the main part of his branch vines only stretched out a portion when Lu Mu Han felt it and recited a spell, formed seals, and bound his roots tightly. The purple gold spirit flame continuously scorched his rhizome, making him feel piercing, heart-wrenching pain for the first time. The vines that were extended retracted unconsciously. Yi Qing Han and Yun Lan were also successfully brought back to the place where Ling Fei Yang and the others were by the fire dragon. As soon as the fire dragon's claws loosened, the two people fell from its claws from a high altitude and directly into the fire cover erected by Lu Mu Yan. Qing Han, Yun Lan. Seeing this, Shi Feng quickly squatted down to check the two of them, then completely heaved a sigh of relief. Thankfully they're fine. Fine. Then why can't they move? Mu Yi asked in confusion while supporting the fire cover. After Yi Qing Han and Yun Lan were thrown down, he found that they couldn't move at all. They were poisoned by the paralyzing venom on the vines of the human-eating blood-thorn vine, so it'll take a while for them to recover. Shi Feng explained after taking out 2 antidote pills for the two of them to take. In a few breaths of time, Yi Qing Han and Yun Lan's stiff faces and bodies eased a lot. Shi Feng asked, "Where's Lu Mu Yan?" "We didn't see her. We only know that she saved us with the fire dragon made from fire elemental energy condensation and angered the human-eating blood-thorn vine king." The paralyzing poison in Yi Qing Han's body gradually disappeared and he was able to speak again, but there was an indescribable worry in his tone. Yun Lan's eyes also revealed a bit of annoyance. It was him and Yi Qing Han who dragged Lu Mu Yan down. "Your elemental energy isn't the fire attribute, so it's normal for that demonic plant king to have caught an opportunity," Ling Fei Yang said when he saw that the two people's expressions were obscure and annoyed. This really couldn't be blamed on the two of them for dragging them back. It just showed that the human-eating blood-thorn vine king was too cunning. Yi Qing Han immediately stood up after discovering that his whole body could move. With a thought, a black light flew out from the spirit beast ring on his wrist. "Li!" Then a deafening cry resounded throughout the entire forest. A Tier 6 golden eagle king with a huge, completely black-brown body, a slight purple luster on its back and shoulders, and a cluster of golden feathers on its head and neck, as if wearing a crown, appeared in front of everyone. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks, Qi, I request that you bring her back safely. Yi Qin Han looked at the Golden Eagle King with deep eyes and said. All right, the Golden Eagle King, known as Qi, nodded slightly, spread out his wings indifferently and rushed up, disappearing into the sky in only a few moments. Yi Qin Han clenched his fists tightly. Before, Qi was in a dormant state so he couldn't contact him. Just now, after being fed a medicinal pill by Shifeng, he suddenly felt the signs of Kai's awakening, so he used his mental energy to quickly rouse him. The Golden Eagle King was the spirit pet he contracted when he was a child. He had accompanied him through almost 20 years of springs and autumns. This time, he just broke through to Tier 6, so he could only hope that he can bring Lu Mu Yen back safely. Not far from them, Lu Mu Yen rushed up from underground to the surface. The moment she looked up, she saw a purely golden-colored plant that was more than 10 feet tall, waving its thick vines constantly, while the trunk in the middle revealed very faint facial features. Damned human, what have you done to me? The human-eating blood thorn vine king couldn't move his root systems and was firmly trapped by an unknown force and the spirit flame. Lu Mu Yen played with a cluster of purple gold-colored flames and said, naturally to seal you up so that you can't come out and cause trouble. Are you reconciled or unreconciled? How bold. You dare to treat this king like this. This king will definitely tear you to pieces. In the 1,000 years, aside from being beaten by that monster in the Thunder Zone that couldn't be offended, it was the first time the human-eating blood thorn vine king had been in such a sorry state. Lu Mu Yen sneered coldly, then I'll let you taste the feeling of your body burning in fiery fire. It seemed that without using some means, this demonic plant king wouldn't yield. She had always disliked forcibly contracting spirit pets when taking them for herself. Since he didn't submit now, then she would beat him into submission. The human-eating blood thorn vine was very useful. It wasn't just the best ingredient to use for medicine and brewing wine, and the best material for refining magic tools, it even had powerful combat abilities. Such a spirit pet that was practical and capable of combat, she'd definitely take him for herself. Clusters of purple gold-colored flames separated from her palm then turned into a pair of intangible hands in mid-air, grabbing the countless golden vines that were about to attack her. Squeak! The main vine of the human-eating blood thorn vine king was grasped firmly by the purple gold spirit flame that had turned into a pair of big hands. Lu Mu Yen gave an order and the flames quickly burned, igniting the golden vine. In only a few breaths of time, it was turned into ash. Ah! The main vine damaged would also cause backlash damage to the human-eating blood thorn vine king. He hated in his heart that although this human woman was one tier lower than him in strength, but she possessed heavenly-grade spirit flame which was the nemesis of demonic plants like him. If this continued, he'd definitely be burned to death by this woman. With a change of mind, he directly separated a portion of his body from the root system, beginning from his demonic core and Yaofu upwards, turned and just burrowed into the ground to try to escape. Lu Mu Yen understood the habits of this kind of demonic plant, so she naturally wouldn't let him succeed, and had long laid out an array before the battle just now. The human-eating blood thorn vine king wanted to plunge into the soil, but was blocked by a layer of jade-colored runes that suddenly rose. There was even a long and thin purple gold-colored flame flowing above the runes. Squeak! The top of the human-eating blood thorn vine king was burned a bit by the purple gold spirit flame and he hurriedly took a few steps back with lingering fear. Yet who knew that when he was still trying to think of ways to escape, spiral-like jade-colored runes flew up from underground, surrounding him and directly trapped his original body. The wisps of purple gold spirit flame in the jade-colored runes spun excitedly, as if it would devour the demonic plant in the circle the moment owner gave the order. Human, just what do you want to do? Although the human-eating blood-thorn vine king had lived for 1,000 years, but he had only just grown up, and although he proclaimed himself king in this land as his all year round, but his battle experience wasn't that abundant. He also had never suffered such a loss before. So while being completely suppressed by the spirit flame, he could only ask angrily. Lu Mu Yen raised an eyebrow and the domineering aura poured out, bold and arrogant. I want you to recognize me as owner. Are you reconciled or unreconciled? At the same time she questioned, the purple gold spirit flame was still dancing with the wind in her palm, as if bearing fangs and brandishing claws, staring at the human-eating blood-thorn vine king. As long as he dared to say the word no, it would immediately rush up and teach him another lesson. Come true. Are you reconciled or unreconciled? Lu Mu Yan's voice was sharp and domineering. The human-eating blood-thorn vine king looked at the woman opposite, who was like a beautiful, delicate flower with her light purple clothes fluttering in the wind, revealing a kind of uninhibited boldness as if looking down upon this world. There was a kind of indignation revealed on his human-like face. This woman actually wanted to take him as her spirit pet. But that purple gold spirit flame was also too powerful. He was suppressed to such an extent that he simply couldn't defeat her. This king isn't reconciled. After considering it for a bit, the human-eating blood-thorn vine king toughened its head and said, You, a little girl at Sword King Cultivation Base actually wanted to take this king as a spirit pet, truly what a big joke. Lu Mu Yen raised an eyebrow and said with a smile instead of anger, Then this young miss will beat you until you're reconciled. If the human-eating blood-thorn vine king just accepted it like that, then she'd actually feel that there was a scheme. Humph, don't use the purple gold spirit flame if you have the ability. The human-eating blood-thorn vine king looked at Lu Mu Yen and said with fear. You want to use reverse psychology. Lu Mu Yan's eyes revealed a trace of ridicule. I can conquer the purple gold spirit flame, so it's a part of my strength. Do you see me as an idiot? You despicable woman. This king won't play with you anymore. Seeing the ridicule on her face, the human-eating blood-thorn vine king spoke furiously, then shot up towards the sky. Since he couldn't run underground, then hell run away in the sky. Just wait for when he calls a demon cultivator who didn't fear the purple gold spirit flame to come as reinforcement. Had definitely show this woman something good. This woman was fair and tender, her fresh blood must be very delicious. Lu Mu Yen watched the human-eating blood-thorn vine king's body turn into a golden light and fly towards the sky, the ridicule in her eyes even thicker. Her fingers pointed towards the array that surrounded him, in circle. Immediately, only a muffled sound could be heard, and the human-eating blood-thorn vine king was barricaded by a circling jade-colored rune barrier, and he was bounced back to the ground. Lu Mu Yen didn't bother to waste time any longer, so she directly leapt into the array with bare and empty hands, enveloped her fists with purple gold spirit flame, then just smashed it towards the human-eating blood-thorn vine king fist by fist. Each time the fists with toughness not inferior to a late-phase Tier 5 demonic beast, carrying a layer of purple gold colors, smashed against the dark golden main branch of the vine, a dent would form, and it would immediately blacken, spreading a burnt smell. Bing Ji watched as the beautiful and lovely little owner's face was dyed with thick battle intent and excitement, slamming each punch down exceptionally violently while the human-eating blood-thorn vine king's shrill cries resounded ceaselessly. Each time he wanted to escape, he'd be blocked by the rune array, then immediately be greeted with the slender fist covered with purple gold. The corner of his lips twitched uncontrollably, eyelids jumped, and he swallowed his saliva as he said to Mo Yen, Fortunately I haven't truly angered her before. The indifference in Mo Yan's eyes was replaced by a smile, his voice light, You can go try. Bing Ji rolled his eyes. It wasn't like he was a masochist. Although Little Owner's cultivation base was one stage lower than him, but she was filled with tricks. Based on those numerous types of spirit arrays alone, it could give him a headache, not to mention that she still had the purple gold spirit flame that had been tamed to obedience in her body. Spirit flames were a spiritual item that needed at least 1,000 years to birth from heaven and earth. It was divided into mortal rank, earth rank, sky rank, saint rank, and the higher the level, the more difficult to produce, and the longer it took. For example, the purple gold spirit flame couldn't be formed without at least a few 10,000 years. It also required a special geographical environment and the companionship of other spiritual items to slowly be birthed. The heavenly frost golden crystal was a necessary condition for the birth of the purple gold spirit flame, and a mountain with the crisscrossing of extreme heat and extreme coldness was the necessary geographical environment for its birth. Therefore, as long as this kind of spirit flame was subdued by someone, it couldn't only be used for alchemy and smithing, but could also be used in battle. Its destructive power was extremely strong and was even the nemesis of demonic plants and some demonic beasts. Although Bing Ji was a descendant of a Siam Wan, but his innate talents were mostly of the ice attribute, so the purple gold spirit flame also had an innate suppressing effect on him. He took another sneak peek at the human-eating blood thorn vine king who was being beaten by Lu Mu Yen, unable to fight back at all, while screaming miserably. He shrunk his neck. In the future, he'd rather offend the red-clothed beautiful man than to offend little owner. When she landed in this area, he saw the shocking scene. That petite and stunning, purple-clothed woman had fierce fighting intent between her brows, directly bombarding the human-eating blood thorn vine king with her fists. What was even more exaggerated was that the human-eating blood thorn vine king who was usually very mighty had no power to fight back right now and was just fully dodging the little woman's attack with all his might while screaming miserably. That appearance was just terribly miserable. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks. He flew to the side of the seven-colored parrot, but then his eyes narrowed. You're not a seven-colored parrot. This bird gave him a very oppressive aura and even had the sense of oppression from an ancient bloodline. He was definitely transformed from a divine beast. Bing Ji looked up at the mighty and majestic black-brown golden eagle king, his eyes revealing a look of having been delightfully charmed. This figure was so good. Well, little bird, you have some good eyesight. Bing Ji raised his chin with a tsundere look. Chi furrowed his brows. Why did a divine beast turn into a seven-colored parrot? He added in his head, how embarrassing. Bing Ji was poked in his sore spot, then huffed, little master, I'm happy to do so. In the end, wasn't he forced to and was helpless? Little owner didn't allow him to use his true form to appear for fear of causing a sensation. The red-clothed beautiful man deliberately suppressed his demonic energy at a tier where he couldn't transform. If he didn't turn into a seven-colored parrot, then did he have to transform into a puppy or kitten? Forget it, it was fearful just thinking about it. She was too lazy to pay attention to him. This divine beast gave him an unreliable feeling. But when he moved his gaze to Mo Yen, a coldness mixed with pressure surrounded him and his heart couldn't help but tremble. Spirit devourer. He couldn't help exclaiming. When Mo Yen heard the golden eagle king actually recognize his true form, did he turn his head to Qi, his eyes indifferent, so it turned out to be a golden eagle with the bloodline of a Kuimping divine beast one. Kai's eyes revealed surprise. This spirit devourer was definitely extraordinary. With only a glance, he could actually tell that he had the bloodline of a Kuimping divine beast. Your aura doesn't belong to this interface. You're also from their right. A layer of light lingered in Mo Yen's deep black eyes, making people unable to see the emotion and depth. There was shock in Kai's eyes. How did he know? You come from there? She asked after falling silent for a bit. Only those who came out from there could feel his aura. No wonder. He was wondering why a spirit devourer that didn't exist on Tianling continent would appear here. So it turned out that he came from the same place as him. Mo Yen didn't hide it either. Towards Qi, who came from the same place as him, there was a sort of recognition. Chi revealed an excited look. This spirit devourer really came from there. If it wasn't because he unintentionally wandered here, then he was avoiding an enemy. He also gave him a sense of closeness. Bing Ji listened to them and there was a hint of confusion that rose in his heart. There was where? You're that woman's spirit pet? Chi asked after thinking for a bit. Mo Yen made a sound of recognition indifferently. Chi was even more puzzled and shocked inwardly. The spirit devourer had a pure demonic race bloodline that was comparable to that of a true dragon and heavenly phoenix, and was also a royal race demonic beast. So how did he recognize a lower interface woman with such weak strength as his owner? Mo Yen saw his confusion but didn't explain either, only asking, "You're Yi Qing Han's spirit pet?" This golden eagle carried Yi Qing Han's aura, so it must have signed a blood contract with Yi Qing Han since childhood. Chi suddenly felt as if he understood after hearing what he said. He also sincerely recognized Yi Qing Han as owner, depending on each other in life and death. There must also be a reason for why this spirit devourer recognized that woman as owner. Just as he was about to speak, he suddenly heard the shrill screams of the human-eating blood-thorn vine king not far away. Reconciled, reconciled, stop hitting me. Come true. Chapter 162, Owner, is it really good for you to be so violent? Reconciled, reconciled, stop hitting me. The human-eating blood-thorn vine king was in pain all over his body, and in the end he couldn't bear the fists with purple gold flames falling onto his body anymore, so he screamed in submission. Lu Mu Yen grabbed his main branch vine with one hand and punched with the other. Hearing that he suddenly said he was reconciled, she furrowed her brows. I still haven't fought enough yet, why don't you fight back? I'm the only one fighting, what a disappointment. It was rare to be able to have a hearty fight. The body of the human-eating blood-thorn vine king was very durable against being beaten, so she vented a bit while she was at it. But the only thing that made her dissatisfied was that this demonic plant only knew how to dodge, and it didn't even hurt or itch when he fought back. It really swept away half of her interest. The human-eating blood-thorn vine king really wanted to just kneel. What did she mean that she hadn't fought enough and that him not fighting back even disappointed her? He wasn't a fool, he also wanted to fight back too. But could he even fight back? Her whole body was covered with a layer of purple gold spirit flame. The moment he touched it, head burn, and the toughness of her body was even comparable to that of a demonic beast all right. If he fought back, he'd not only not be able to hurt her much, but he'd also pay with himself and be burned as well. It wasn't like he had a brain spasm. Hearing Lu Mu Yan's words, Bing Ji looked up at the sky speechlessly and muttered, "Little owner, is it really good for you to be so violent? Bing Ji, you have an opinion against me." Although Bing Ji's voice was soft, but it still fell in Lu Mu Yan's ears. She narrowed her eyes and said dangerously. It just so happened that she hadn't fought enough and wasn't satisfied. If this stinky bird dared to talk back, then she'd let him transform back into his original form and also abuse him a bit. Bing Ji immediately put on a flattering smile. How's that possible? My pure heart for little owner can be reflected by the sun and the moon. I'm just complimenting that you fought well, fought really well. Little owner just needs to be this violent to make people like you. After he finished speaking, he immediately attracted the contemptuous gazes from Mo Yen and Chi. Such a shameful divine beast that loses face truly was unheard of. Bing Ji just ignored the two beasts' gaze. As if he wanted to be punished by owner so violently. Lu Mu Yen rolled her eyes. Bing Ji really had no moral integrity. She stomped a foot heavily on the area where the head was on the main body of the human-eating blood-thorn vine king and crushed it a few times. Are you really reconciled or fake reconciled? Fuck, this damned woman actually trampled on his head, but he didn't dare reveal his feelings verbally, I'm really reconciled. Be a spirit pet, well, then hell be a spirit pet. At least it was better than being beaten and burned to death. The human-eating blood thorn vine king was extremely regretful at this time. Had he known early on, then when these people entered his area, he wouldn't take the initiative to attack them. This was really losing one's army on top of losing one's wife. When Lu Mu Yen saw that he was indeed really scared after being beaten by her, did she retrieve her foot and raised an eyebrow? I'll sign a contract of equals with you now. We'll be partners from now on. I won't enslave you either, and I'll also help you improve your strength. Of course, if you want to go back on your word, I won't force you either. Then she added. When she contracted spirit pets, she never liked to force them. Do I dare to go back on my word? The human-eating blood thorn vine king had a mouthful of old blood stuck in his chest. If he dared to go back on it, then this little grandaunt would definitely beat him to death. Contract of equals, partner, help him improve his strength. It didn't sound that bad. Hell, just pretend he boarded a pirate ship one. Just contract, I'm willing to be your spirit pet. It was just a pity for the life he spent here proclaiming himself king and this land as his. But he had also long wanted to go out and see the outside world. Few humans and demonic beasts came here and there was no fresh blood to provide nourishment. Relying on absorbing spiritual force to cultivate really was just too slow. Originally he thought to wait until he could transform before going out, as he, right now, simply couldn't move out of this area at all. So it was actually good if he was contracted by this woman, as he could escape that monster's control, and he also didn't have to wait hundreds to 1,000 years to transform. Lu Mu Yen revealed a hint of satisfaction in her eyes. This time she actually profited in coming to Sunset Cloud Mountain Range. Her 2 hands kept forming seals and she mouthed an obscure spell. Strips of jade-colored runes flew out of her body, wounding around the human-eating blood thorn vine king. A drop of blood essence fell from her fingertip and dripped onto the top of the other party's head. A warm light circle enveloped the one human and one demon, constantly flowing with colorful, glaze-like colors. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks. After a while, the colorful glaze light circle vanished, and there was also a spiritual connection between Lu Mu Yen and the human-eating blood thorn vine king. The originally reluctant human-eating blood thorn vine king's cultivation base, after the contract, suddenly skyrocketed, and the dark golden-colored vines grew numerous main branches again, while the roots returned in his body again. He was completely shocked inwardly. The green fog on this woman could actually allow him to evolve. He instantly soared from initial phase tier 6 to middle phase tier 6 strength. This was the result that he could only obtain after cultivating at least 10 years. Of course, if he absorbed the blood of high-level sword masters and demonic beasts, then he could also advance quickly, but it still wasn't as miraculous as the green fog. Xue pays formal respects to owner. The human-eating blood thorn vine king was much more sincere at this time. That green fog was a good thing. It might actually be a good choice to follow this woman, and the resistance in his heart also eased a lot. Lu Mu Yen was also amazed inwardly at the effect of the green sea of fog. Not only could it remove poison, heal wounds, had a repairing function, and nourish the meridian, but it could also promote the advancement of spirit pets. No. There was no such situation when she contracted Mo Yen, Bing Ji and Miao Miao. Lu Mu Yan's eyes were as deep as the sea. It seemed that the green fog was only useful for demonic plants, then was it also useful for spiritual herbs? An idea suddenly popped up in her mind. She could try it when she returned. She knew that this kind of advancement was only obvious when contracting. The green sea of fog in her body could help Xue, but it would no longer be as fast and miraculous as it was just now. Xue, can you still turn smaller? Lu Mu Yen furrowed her brows and looked the human-eating blood thorn vine king up and down. It'd be too flamboyant to release such a figure in the future. The human-eating blood-thorn vine king couldn't help but hold his forehead with a vine. Shwe shwe. Could I not want this name? But he didn't dare to resist, otherwise it was immediate service with flames. Remembering the power of the purple gold spirit flame, he couldn't resist shuddering. He'd never forget the burning sensation just now. Now that he was finally repaired by the green fog and that woman, it would be best if he didn't seek death. Owner, I can become the size of your 7-colored parrot. The human-eating blood-thorn vine king said respectfully. Only then did Lu Mu Yen nod with satisfaction. With a thought, the jade-colored rune ribbon that surrounded the human-eating blood-thorn vine king entered her body, and the array was also removed. Shwe felt that the moment the suppression from the array was dissipated, he could consciously reduce the size of his body to the size of Bingji. You don't have to be so unfamiliar and respectful to me in the future. Lu Mu Yen looked at Shwe seriously and said, in the future, we'll be life and death partners. Once the contract of equals took effect, then it couldn't be broken. Their future life and death would be linked together. She regarded all her spirit pets as partners and not spirit pets. Shwe's heart tightened and was actually moved by Lu Mu Yan's sincerity. His guard was lowered a lot. He also found that the contract signed between them didn't have the coercive oppression on the spirit pet from the owner, and instead, they were equal to each other, so he also didn't resist being her spirit pet anymore. Either way, the two divine beasts opposite were willing to become her spirit pets, so there was even less of a problem regarding face for a demonic plant like him. Meanwhile, in just a few breaths after Shwe was contracted, in a secret room of a large hall in the Thunder Zone, a leaf-shaped golden spar suddenly shattered into several pieces. Seeing this, a demon cultivator hurried to Monarch's resting quarters to report the abnormality. Translated product by May Our Come True. One basically hell just consider that he joined a criminal organization he can't get out from anymore, usually used to mean that they were dragged into something they didn't want to, so hell just have go along with it. Colloquial. It's also apparently used as a joke/loving banter between couples, be it married or not. For example, an example I found on Baidu, let's say in a couple, partner 1 and partner 2 is in an argument for something partner 1 did. But partner 2 is angry yet also completely in love and couldn't bear to do anything to partner 1 because of this love, so partner 2 might say, in a helpless manner, I've really boarded your pirate ship, meaning, who could I blame but myself for loving you so deeply and couldn't leave you, you'll just have to go along with everything now, nothing matters anymore. LOL. Also in Chinese it's, Sichuan. Could be translated to thief ship or ship of thieves. Random note 1, Shwe is literally named blood lol. Bingji is ice halberd. Mo Yen is ink flame and Miao Miao aka Jean Miao is golden vast, the word vast in this case is water related only. Like vast ocean. Random note 2, X is pronounced like shu, so Shwe is like shui said quickly, kinda. The reason why it's not just written as sh is because sh is actually a different pronunciation in Chinese, e.g. Feng Shi is sh. So Xian and Old Man Tian Xian is Shuan, kinda. Also, although Shwe clan pinyin is also Shwe, it is pronounced slightly differently because of the tones in Chinese. Just imagine different accents of the same English word. And so Mingxiu is shiu kinda, or something like shu. Also Q is pronounced like ch, so Qing and Yiqing Han is Qing. Once again, it's not written as ch because ch is a different pronunciation, e.g. like in Qi Yi Xian. And zh is kinda, only kinda pronounced like the English ch, with the similarity being that when you say ch, your tongue touches the roof of your mouth. Hard to explain. Or listen to Google or something pronounce the word xd. That's at least somewhat accurate, though even the same word can potentially have completely different pronunciations, in different contexts, and even different meanings. Sometimes same meaning but different pronunciations. Example, Shwe, blood, can also be pronounced as xia, blood, How do you know which one to use? You just do. You're tuning into the LoveLore Library YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.